Middays is presented by FedEx. FedEx, helping small businesses simplify e-commerce. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Davis Motorhome Marts.
From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series, and the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Tigers reclaim their crown by crushing Alabama.
Brady under center, victory formation, takes the snap, falls to an E, and that'll do it. The New England Patriots have won.
And Virginia with the all-time turnaround title.
We, the North, are now we, the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
Now, here are your hosts for Sports 56 Middays, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoie.
Out in the countryside, lay back and smell the sun, warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good.
Oh, it's another hot, humid, but sunny day in the Mid-South as we get ready for 3 hours of scintillating sports talk on Sports 56 Middays. Hope you had a terrific weekend. As we look back at everything that's happening in the world of sports, plenty of football, both pro and college, to discuss on the program. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsors, all the great folks at the FedEx Corporation. Can't thank them enough for being a part of our program each and every day. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to learn how FedEx can help your business thrive online. It's Monday. That means Connor O'Gara will join us from SaturdayDownSouth.com. We'll get his insight on the weekend in college football. There were no top 25 matchups this past weekend, but there's plenty coming up this weekend. Some titanic matchups that we will discuss throughout the week leading up to those games. But week 3 in the books, and week 1, make that week 2 of the NFL season just about in the books with the Monday night game tonight still to go. We got the good, the bad, the ugly from the weekend that was. We'll wrap it up as we do each and every day with one final thing. Plenty of time for your calls and texts. You can hit us up on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255, First Bank text line at 67129. Message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. It's officially the Monday, September 16th, 2019 edition of Sports 56 Middays. Let's get this thing going. Eli, how are you? Hope you had a great weekend.
Yeah, it was a fine weekend. Not a whole lot of excitement. Just a lot of watching football, and had a good week of fantasy football. Cubs scored nearly 1 million runs in 3 games against the Pirates. So, it was fun.
And back to within 2 games now of Austin's Cardinals, who gave up 1 yesterday.
We're not talking about that today.
There's it's an interesting little race going on. You got the Cubs chasing the Cardinals. You got the Nationals, who are a game and a half up on the Cubs for the first wild card spot. Now the Cardinals and Nationals are playing each other.
Junior Fernandez was 9 years old when Ryan Braun made his major league debut.
Wow!
Got out there and gave up a grand slam to Braun.
Why was Junior Fernandez in the game?
Apparently, Carlos Martinez is dealing with the flu, is what Dan McLaughlin had to say. That's all I know.
Was Braun using Christian Yelich's jersey under his the whole weekend, or just that one day?
Mattered if he was.
Well, all of a sudden, there's been a Ryan Braun sighting.
I was listening to the Cubs game, and they mentioned that Braun had hit the grand slam off of Junior Fernandez, and I was like, "What? They off who? Like, why do the Cardinals have a pitcher I've never heard of in the game closing out against the Brewers in mid-September?"
As soon as he came in the game, I was like, "Well, this one's over. Might as well go ahead and count on a blown save here."
See, I want to know why we're even working today. You and Eli and myself, why did we not take everything we own pull it together, head it down to Tunica, and bet it all on the Patriots. Was that the easiest money in the history of gambling?
Yeah, I don't know why we didn't do that either. That would have been an easy win.
Are you? I mean,
although the problem is you would
seriously.
have had to bet probably what 50,000 to get 100.
No,
It's not on the line.
Oh,
No.
okay.
If you take it a minus the 19, it's just the minus one.
Minus 19 straight up. They went 43-0. Again, look, I'm not a big gambler. I know you're not. Eli's more than we are, but none of us are degenerates. But my gosh, that seemed like it was the easiest play in the history of gambling.
The Dolphins are
Hot mess?
oh man, it is a train wreck.
The pyro machine that caught on fire at the Titans game, that sums up the Dolphins right there.
Well,
That was something, right?
It summed up the Titans. In the state of Tennessee, we continue to get foreshadowing things that happen before football games.
And it all has to do with fire of some sort.
I mean, we got boats sinking, we got fires happening, it'll tell you, they'll tell you right there. In the state of Tennessee, they tell you right before the game exactly what's about to happen.
Well, I'm a bit concerned now that you bring that up. We had the Vol Navy ship that went down, the boat that went down. That's in the eastern part of the state. We had the pyrotechnic fire in Nashville at Nissan Field before the Titans fell to my Colts. Knock on wood, gentlemen. We've stayed away from the western portion of the state. Let's hope there's nothing on the horizon there, because it was a good weekend for the University of Memphis Tigers as we get into the college football weekend. Again, there was no major clashes in college football. There were some games that were bigger than others as far as the level of competition. But for me personally, it was an awful weekend, but I predicted it with the Maryland Terrapins going down. Every time they get ranked, they lose that next week. And they lost to Temple, which was a nice win for Mike Oresco's P6 conference. But the Memphis Tigers, look, I know South Alabama's not expected to win the Sun Belt. They did give Nebraska a little bit of a run, but turned it over 4 times. When we previewed the game, you had all the numbers last week. They're not a bad little football team. Memphis embarrassed them. It could have been worse. Mike Norvell had the second and third and even some fourth teamers in the game. They gave up the 1 touchdown late. 530 total yards of offense to 248. Kenneth Gainwell, 145 yards rushing, including a 71-yard run. Kylan Watkins, 113 yards rushing, including a 72-yard run. The defense was awesome. I thought Brady White was average. He was really good against Southern. I thought he was average. He threw some throws that were too high. Still went 12 of 20 for 209, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. The Tigers picked up 68 votes in the coaches poll, good enough for 27th, and now 26 votes in the AP poll, good enough for 30th. Again, Eli, not the level of competition that they'll play with some of these American Conference schools and what they played with Ole Miss, but they throttled them. That was an easy win down in Mobile, and I did not expect it to be that easy.
Well, I mean, South Alabama is not real good to begin with, and once Trey Minter went out of that game, I mean that he is their offense,
Right?
So
he's the workhorse.
At that point, they really had no chance because their quarterback is not very good. But yeah, it's one of those. Go in, do what you're supposed to do. Don't let them hang around. Take care of business. And the Tigers did just that. Very just workmanlike. We're better than this team. Let's go show we're better than this team. Try and avoid any injuries or any other issues. And I was looking at collegefootballnews.com. They do their weekly ranking of all 130 teams in the country. They have the Tigers at 64th.
Wow.
I was like, that seems awfully low. Like I don't know that anybody has them ranked that low if you're ranking all of the teams in the country.
No, I don't see it. I just talked about the AP poll and the coaches poll, where they're in the top 30 of both.
Yeah, I was.
That's
like,
awfully low.
I was a little dumbfounded by that one. I'm like, my gosh, what do they got to do to crack the top 50, let alone like the top 30 or so? Like they're at 64, I think, and then Ole Miss I think was at 69. in their ranking.
Non-believers.
They're there. They do not. Houston was, I know, up there ahead of them. I didn't look at all how many non-Power 5 teams were ahead of them. I know Houston was one. I think Houston was like 50 something, but I didn't look exactly how many.
Utah State is ahead of them.
Are they really? Yeah.
Well, the good thing is it's just a poll. Who cares?
Fresno's 0-2 and they're ahead of them.
Really?
How does that happen?
Something personal against Memphis. But in all honesty, the Ole Miss game certainly was a tussle. You had 2 games that you should have won, and you've won. And now you have a week off before Navy comes to town a week from this Thursday. And Navy is much improved. They had a horrible year last year. Ken Niumatalolo, I'm sure we'll get him on the show next week if his schedule works out, has got this team playing well. You look around the conference, Tulane continues to improve under Willie Fritz. You have an SMU team that's slinging around the field with Shane Buechele. Houston, although losing to Washington State Friday night, is a scary team. Cincinnati, they haven't played that well since their opener against UCLA, and UCLA is pretty bad. They did not even put up any type of a fight against Ohio State. And then after a slow start, ended up winning the game going away over Miami of Ohio. But they're still a dangerous team. And then UCF yesterday, make that Saturday. See, when we had Barrett Sallee on Friday, you heard me probably chuckle a little bit when he said Stanford's going to go down there, they're going to crush them. Because I think you took UCF. Did we have that as a game? I don't know. I talked about it. I'm not sure if we had it as a pick 6 on Thursday. I'm trying to remember. But I think we did. Yes. We did. And we both had UCF. I did not. I took Stanford. Oh, you did take Stanford. Okay. Yeah. My thought process was UCF's just a better team. Stanford got manhandled by USC, and I haven't bought into USC. I think they're improved, and Slovis is a good little young quarterback. But I saw Stanford's defense sieve like that. Thought UCF would take care of them. I didn't know it would be that easy. It was 28-7 with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Now,
they destroyed them.
They destroyed them.
UCF, and now they've gone to the another true freshman quarterback, and back-to-back weeks that USC has lost, or Stanford has lost to true freshman quarterbacks. But man, that was a very impressive destruction of Stanford. I mean, the offense doing whatever they want, defense, Stanford, even with Costello back, no chance to do much. That's a statement right there. That was a statement of, okay, yeah, like Mackenzie Milton's gone. We're not even using Brandon Wimbush. We're still really, really good.
Freshman Dylan Gabriel, 4 touchdown passes in his second start. The game ends up 45-27. It wasn't even that close. Stanford scored a bunch late in the game. UCF called off the dogs. And what happened in the polls, if you're watching them closely, they didn't move. They didn't move up. They stayed the same. It's going to be one of these deals where it's, look at UCF. Look how well they're playing. Oh, Stanford's overrated. And maybe they are, but it's still Stanford. It's still a Pac-12 team, and they dismantled them. So the point being, the American Conference is going to have a lot of landmines. And then Temple taking care of Maryland. And look, I know my Terps better than anybody. I'm sorry. And I knew there was a loss there. Temple will hit you in the face, and if you don't want to hit back, you're going to have an issue. And Maryland had all the opportunities in the world, trying to go mano-a-mano, trying to go macho versus their... No. When they got down to the goal line to try to punch it in, they couldn't do it against Temple. They could not do it. That was a real nice win for Temple. But for Maryland, they just backed away from the physicality. And that's what Temple has when Memphis comes and visits them in several weeks. So there's obstacles all up and down, but so far through 3 games, with Patrick Taylor missing the last 2, you have to be pretty happy if you're a Tigers fan with what you're seeing, and Mike Norvell and his staff has to be pretty happy with what they're seeing, especially on the defensive side with new DC Adam Fuller.
If you look at the national rankings defensively in yards per play, the American Athletic Conference actually has 3 of the top 10 teams, with UCF number 2, Temple number 3, and Memphis at number 10. And if you go further down, you got Navy at 16 and Tulane at 19. So I have 5 of the top 20 teams in yards per play.
Wow.
Defensively. So they're actually playing some defense in the old P6 this year.
Yeah, and some of them have played defense in the past. Memphis not being one of them for the most part.
Memphis right now allowing 3.88 yards per play on the year, which again is 10th in the country. UCF's at 3.45 and Temple's at 3.60. Yards per game, Memphis is number 5 in the country, averaging just over 226 yards per game allowed. Navy is right behind them at number 6. So that's the next opponent for the Tigers is right behind them as far as defensive rankings go, yards per game.
After the break, we'll go over a bunch of the games from the area, from the region, SEC games. We'll talk national games as well with Connor O'Gara, who will join us at 11:05. A little bit of recruiting news from a friend of the show, Adam Zagoria, as I switch gears to college basketball, but it involves Memphis. First of all, he tweets out, Kentucky and 2020 guard Jalen Green have mutually parted ways, and the official visit for October 16th through the 19th has been canceled, according to his sources. Now, that doesn't mean that can't be resurrected, but for now, according to Adam, the Kentucky-Jalen Green connection done. Green considering Auburn, Memphis, and Oregon, and we know Memphis has been on him from the get-go. Also, an official visit to campus this weekend. Jaden Springer was here, and Hardaway and his staff will be in Wednesday to meet with the 5-star senior on a home visit. So Memphis right now going all out for Jaden Springer and Jalen Green, and would love to get that combination for the class of 2020. Late last week, we had the sad news from the entertainment world, the music world, of the passing of Eddie Money. Well, yesterday, one that even hits closer to home, the passing of the lead singer and creator of the Cars, Rick Ocasek, who, if people don't know who he is, very unique, distinguished voice, very unique and distinguished look. But the Cars really brought new wave into existence. I know that there were the Ramones and the New York Dolls and Blondie back in the late 70s, turning into like the 80s. But the Cars were the one, I think, for the most part, that was more of a group that was new wave / top 40. So more people got to listen to the Cars. So we certainly salute Rick Ocasek. We'll hear a little Cars music throughout the show. And let's take it to the break right here, Austin, with a little Cars. We'll talk some more college football when we return. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56. 96.1 and 87.7.
It's not the perfume that you wear. It's not the ribbons in your hair. And I don't mind you coming here and wasting all my time.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag Equipment can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, these tractors can tackle every chore on your to-do list. Call 662-890-3141 or stop in today to find a Case IH Farm All that's right for you.
Bases loaded here at the top of the 9th. And the pitch. And it's out of here.
We deliver baseball caps, mitts, and everything you need to get ready for the game. But what you really get when FedEx knocks on your door is so much more.
FedEx Delivery.
Game day spirit. What we deliver by delivering.
How you doing, people? And if it's a Chevy you're looking for, any new Chevy, Olive Branch is where you need to go. New 2020 Silverados and Blazers are at All-Star Chevrolet, ready for you to drive today. Traverse, Equinox, Impala, best new All-Star Chevy lineup ever. And most have 0 for 72 financing. So give these Chevys a test run. Roll the windows down. Enjoy the weather. Crank the music up. Pretend like the car is going to be yours, because it is going to be yours. And best of all, All-Star has the ABCs. A, the All-Star Challenge. Take any written offer from any Mid-South auto dealer to All-Star Chevrolet, and you can get a better deal, new or pre-owned, or they buy you a tank of gas. B, best buying experience, period. No wasting your time. They make it easy. And C, customer care. You're all in. Loaner cars, free oil changes. It's the All-Star family, and they're going to treat you like that. It's not South Haven, not the Pike, not Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet or go to allstarautogroup.com.
My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish. Now I feel great. That's because I kicked off 2019 with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days. It's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily support, sign up at Metamucil.com today. Available at Walmart and Walmart.com.
Dive into an ocean of delicious possibilities at Ocean Blue Seafood and Bar, 6600 Stage Road at Kirby Whitten and Bartlett. Mouthwatering boiled crab legs, crawfish, shrimp, clams, mussels, and more. Want a working lunch that won't slow you down? It's Ocean Blue. Ocean Blue features the wettest happy hour in town with $3 specials all afternoon long. For lunch, dinner, or a seaside sundowner, it's Ocean Blue Seafood and Bar, 6600 Stage Road at Kirby Whitten and Bartlett. Take the plunge into Ocean Blue today.
Right now, you can get 5 cents off every gallon of fuel every day. That's 5 cents off every gallon with Make It Count rewards from Marathon. Plus, you can earn points for additional savings on fuel, airfare, hotels, and more. It's quick and easy to join. Just visit makeitcount.com/radio or download the free app. So start saving today with Make It Count from Marathon. Offer valid only at participating Marathon locations. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Here once again are Greg and Eli.
She's my best friend's girl.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays. 10:25 is the time. Hour one of the program. Again, on Monday, it's Connor O'Gara. That's it. We don't schedule a bunch of guests like we do each and every day, so we'd love to hear from you, the good, the bad, the ugly from the weekend that was. You can hit us up on the First Bank text line at 67129. Call in on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255. Message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Hello to Calvin, who has Facebooked us. Good show to the both of you today. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you for listening. We appreciate all our great listeners out there. Oh, by the way, news just in on Drew Brees. Not good. Torn ligament in his throwing thumb. They say he's out a minimum of 6 weeks. That's the initial estimate.
Yeah, that was the the thought was it was ligament damage, and I believe he's going to have surgery on that, and then also today, they will make the decision whether Ben Roethlisberger has to have surgery. That will sideline him for some time. So the old guy quarterbacks, other than Tom Brady, of course, did not have a good day yesterday.
Not at all.
They're falling by the wayside. But
quarterbacks in general, though, not just the NFL. Another season-ending injury to a quarterback in the SEC. This is crazy. Felipe Franks is done for the University of Florida, follows in the footsteps of Terry Wilson at Kentucky and Jake Bentley at South Carolina.
Yeah, and that was an ugly one too. That was one of those that not easy to watch as he got bent in ways that you're just not supposed to be bent. Human body is just not made to be that flexible, or at least most human bodies not made to be that flexible. And that was brutal for him, and very unfortunate for him, for Florida. They got a decent backup, though.
Kyle Trask comes in the game, leads them to 3 touchdowns in the fourth, and they beat Kentucky as Kentucky was trying to go back-to-back. Last year, they ended the long losing streak against Florida, but they couldn't get it done. Now Florida goes home, and they'll play the Tennessee Vols, the annual Tennessee-Florida clash, which Florida normally wins. But now you're using the backup quarterback. The Vols will head to Gainesville on a high. Finally, They get the W yesterday, or Saturday rather, over UT Chattanooga, 45-0. Jarrett Garantano, 7 of 8, 142 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's pretty efficient there. As Tennessee gets a great defensive performance, they ran the ball well. Sure, it was against an inferior opponent, but then again, we thought Georgia State was an inferior opponent. And finally, they get in the win column. So a little momentum going into the Florida game.
I guess. I guess if you're Tennessee, you'll take any positive you can get. I mean, beating up on Chattanooga, if that's what they got to get for positive thoughts, good on you, Tennessee.
Apparently, that's what they got to get.
Enjoy it.
There's not much else to grab onto, so they're certainly going to do so over a FCS opponent. But it was a win nonetheless. And now the Florida game, which we'll talk about later on in the week, in depth, but the Vols get their first win. The Ole Miss Rebels, also playing an FCS opponent, beat Southeastern Louisiana 40-29. Got a little hairy there in the second half. Wasn't as easy as you thought it may have been. Matt Corral, 21 of 30, 239 and 2 touchdowns, continues to get better. Scotty Phillips ran the ball well, and then it was up to the defense, Mike McIntyre's defense, and Mike was on with us last week, to do some good things and slow down Southeastern Louisiana in the fourth quarter, and they did. And now Ole Miss gets set to host Cal, now ranked, the Golden Bears, 2 weeks ago, knocking off Washington in a big upset. So Ole Miss with an opportunity to start out 3-1, and we discussed that in the during the summer, how important it was for Ole Miss. They had a chance to start 3-1, and now they have that golden opportunity against the Golden Bears.
Golden opportunity. That's what you did there. Yeah, I'm a little bit more nervous about that game now. Cal's looking pretty good. They got a pretty solid defense, too. Now, their offense, I don't know exactly. It's usually kind of sketchy, but their defense is looking really good. And the Southeastern game, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of Ole Miss fans that are scared, but I'm not worried about. Like, they always play lazy in those kind of games. They just kind of come out and mail it in, be like, yeah, let's just get out of here without anybody getting hurt, and we win the game. So I'm not too worried about that as far as like, that they played really bad against Sela, but yeah, the Cal's going to be a pretty good team. I'm going to be at that game, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, like I just said, a ranked team now coming into Oxford to play the Rebels.
The nice performance, big performance by Jerrion Ely, setting the freshman record at Ole Miss for total yards in a game.
That kick return was awesome.
He's a weapon. That's what they're going to need. They need him. He's one of the playmakers on the team. They need him to make plays. He was able to do that with the kick return, got involved in running the ball, everything else. So they're going to need guys like him to make as many plays as they can. I think Cal, certainly pretty good defensively. It's interesting in the polls because of the way poll people think in these work.
No poll people.
You've got Cal moving into the rankings right behind Washington.
Is that in the AP or the coach?
Both. They're one spot behind them in, I think, the AP. I think they're 2 spots behind them in the coaches poll. So, hey, we probably should put Cal into the rankings because they beat Washington. We'll put them right there behind Washington. I mean,
I've never understood that. Take it a little serious. If you're going to have a vote, take it a little serious and look at it.
It's the poll mentality. Cal was not there, and so they'll only move them up so far. Washington was already up there. They only fall so far with the loss. And they can't look at it and go, you know what, maybe I should at least just flip these two since 1-1 at the other play. Like, it wasn't like Washington had to go to Cal. Cal went to Washington and won the game. Like, you can't, I don't know what else they could have possibly done.
No, but we always have these puzzling questions every year when it comes to the polls. Mississippi State lost to Kansas State 31-24. I thought that was a bit surprising. I didn't know what to expect from Kansas State, but I didn't expect them to play as physical as they did, and they really matched Mississippi State's physical play. Now, we talked about the quarterbacks already out for the year, 3 from the SEC. Tommy Stevens' shoulder is an issue. He played for a while. He was 7 of 15 for 100 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. And the shoulder finally got to him. I don't know if this is going to be one of these lingering problems throughout the season, Eli. But instead of Keaton Thompson, they brought in Skylar Thompson. Is that his last name? It's not Thompson.
Skylar Thompson is the Kansas State quarterback.
I'm sorry. Skylar
Schrader.
That's who they brought in. I'm sorry. Skylar Thompson, I was going to say, for Kansas State. had 123 yards and a touchdown. But the backup to Tommy Stevens came in, the freshman, and he may have to be the guy moving forward because I don't know where Keaton Thompson stands in Joe Moorhead's hierarchy. But the hit the kid took, the whirly bird that he took, I have never seen. I've seen guys have the old whirly bird when they get hit by two guys. I've never seen the elevation of that player. He was so far off the ground.
It was so awesome. Like it literally,
not for him.
It brought me out of my seat. Like when I saw, I was like, oh my God! Like I jumped up. I was like, holy cow! Like he got so high, and it felt like he was in the air for like 10 minutes. And then when he came down, I was like, oh, he's going to be short of the first down. Like I felt bad for the kid. I felt like, man, you get that high, you do that, you deserve the first down, and to end up a little bit short of the first down. But really that game, now Stevens did not look good at all. Like you could tell clearly, like he was missing some throws. He was missing some wide open throws. But that game really shouldn't even have been as close as it was. I mean, you got the two fumbled muffed punts by Kansas State that gave Mississippi State opportunities. Like Kansas State really just looked better than Mississippi State.
They did. But again,
tried to give it away to him. That interception that turned into a fumble, like, I mean, you can't do that.
No, look, there were a lot of mistakes in that game, but I really was surprised how physical Kansas State was. But Skylar Thompson, he ran the ball well, big quarterback, but the hit on Schrader was – now hopefully there's no after effects from that hit because Schrader may be the guy moving forward. We'll see what happens with Moorhead and Mississippi State. The competition's even going to get tougher as we move forward with SEC West battles, but that's a tough one for Mississippi State. Arkansas gets a win, improves to 2-1, bounces back from the loss at Ole Miss, and beats Colorado State 55-34. It went back and forth for a while there, but the Hogs scored the last 21 of that game. And it seems as if Chad Morris made the wrong decision on the quarterback to start the year because Ben Hicks struggled and Nick Starkel's been pretty good. 20 of 35, 305 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, so far, like the time he has been in there, he has looked better than Hicks. I'm not sure that it's going to matter necessarily who the quarterback is. Arkansas is not going to win very many football games, but yes, I would say Starkel so far looks better than Hicks.
We mentioned Florida beating Kentucky 29-21. Kyle Trask taking over for Felipe Franks, leading the team to 3 fourth-quarter scoring drives. We'll see what happens the rest of the way with Trask. And
well, that Franks injury looked bad.
It was really ugly. But Florida will move forward with this backup quarterback as they'll take on Tennessee this weekend.
Got a text on the First Bank text line that says Kyle Trask is an upgrade from Franks. Hate it for Franks, but Trask looked more confident than ever. I talked to a Florida fan yesterday who said the same thing. They were like, they believe Trask is the better quarterback.
Then why is Franks the starting quarterback? Why was he? I've heard that as well. I've heard that Trask, once he went into the game, well, you didn't have to hear it, you could see it, that Dan Mullen seemed to be more confident in his downfield throwing. So I'm not saying the texture's wrong by any stretch of the imagination, but if that's the case, and Dan Mullen is one of the quarterback gurus out there, then why is Felipe Franks, or why was he the starter until the injury and not Kyle Trask? That I never understood that. If people think that this is the better quarterback, then why is he not in there? Obviously in the mind of Dan Mullen, which is the only mind that matters, and the only decision maker that matters.
In a mind, it's a terrible thing to waste.
It is a terrible thing to waste, somebody once said. But Felipe Franks was the guy. Also, Auburn.
By the way, and they made the point of this on the game, but is there any worse name for a kicker than Kentucky's Chance Poor?
Well,
missed the kick.
Ryan Suckup is pretty bad, but it's not Ryan Suck. It's Ryan Suckup. So
the blew it from a couple years ago.
That's right.
But when you
blew it still.
When you're out there, when you send a guy out to try and win the game with a kick, and his name is Chance Poor, I mean that's
that's bad.
I mean, come on, man. Like I don't like that's just a. I don't. I mean, it's like his parents played a cruel joke on him. Like, if your last name's Poor, I don't think you should name your kid Chance.
Well, there's an up-and-coming kicker that is being recruited by a lot of schools. Billy Wide left, but I don't know if.
And and his name proved to be true. That's a poor kid. Like, I always feel bad for kickers and that. Like, I want them to make the kick. Because I feel like the look on his face when that thing missed, like you could just, like, he was just like, I don't want to go back to the sideline because I've just cost us a game. And I don't, some, teammates can be all right, but they can also, some of them can be rough on you.
Hey, look, there's nobody that has more of a warm feeling for kickers than myself, having gone through it with my son, who's a former kicker. But with that said, you have the highs and you have the lows. Look at the Bears fans, right? From what they dealt with last year. And now Eddie Pinheiro kicks a game-winning field goal of over 50 yards in that crazy Bears-Denver game. Or you could be what I'm going through with my Colts. And again, I feel for what's happening. But Adam Vinatieri, you can't miss. He's missed 5 kicks already, 3 extra points. He's 45 or 46 years of age. He's a future Hall of Famer. But it's time to look at another kicker.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about this yesterday. Like, it finally looks like maybe age or whatever has caught up to Adam Vinatieri. Like, he
hit the wall.
His career could very well be over. Because I know he's Adam Vinatieri, but any kicker who's missed 3 extra points through 2 weeks, you have to be looking at replacing that kicker.
Absolutely.
You can't go on with a guy who's missing extra points regularly. Like, that's just not, you cannot have that in the NFL.
Yeah, and Jim Irsay said they're absolutely concerned, and I would bet that they will look at it. And who knows, there's reports out there, not reports out there, but there's speculation out there that possibly Vinatieri will retire. But I don't know if he'll go that far. But this is one of those deals where, again, I feel for him. I think what he has done in the NFL is incredible, and he'll be a rare kicker in Canton. But this is my team, and he's hurting the team. Colts should be 2-0. They could have easily lost that game to the Titans and been 0-2, and a big part of that was because of the kicker.
Well, there was a reporter who apparently said that I guess Vinatieri, like, leaving yesterday, said, "You'll hear from me tomorrow," or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the reporter said, "Well, no, we don't. I mean, there's no media availability tomorrow," or something like that. And he said, "Oh, you'll hear from me." So that, I think, people thought like maybe he was going to announce his retirement today. Because, I mean, Adam Vinatieri knows, like, I can't be out there missing. If I'm missing extra points, like, I can't do this.
No, I'm embarrassing myself. I'm hurting the team. And that's the most important. I guarantee you he's more concerned with hurting the team than he is embarrassing himself. The career will not be, it won't be tainted, but it doesn't help when you already are minus Andrew Luck and you still think you can get to the postseason. You can't afford to lose games because of a kicker, albeit a kicker that's headed to Canton. Elsewhere in college football, again, a lot of big lopsided games. Auburn rolls, Texas A&M rolls, Mizzou beats SEMO 50-0. LSU crushing Northwestern State. I think it was play-by-play announcer Tom Hart who tweeted out yesterday. Let's see if I think I retweeted it. But you don't usually get this from play-by-play guys. They're pretty neutral. They don't make their feelings felt a lot of times when it's a little bit controversial, but here it is. He said, "My bold takeaway from this weekend in college football, it's time to do away with P5 versus FCS games. With the exception of the game check, there is little gain by anyone. You want to play the big boys, move up a level. You want to schedule a cupcake, pick on someone your own scholarship size."
Agree 100%.
I do too.
Said it for years and years. It doesn't make sense. And certainly it doesn't. I mean, there's no need for those games to be played. I don't understand it. And I agree that I don't think anybody gets anything out of it other than some money. But that's to me is a poor excuse for playing those games.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. I'm glad Tom Hart stepped up and said what he did. And one final note before we take the break. Congrats to Fred Jones and all the folks with the Southern Heritage Classic. Weather was not a factor this time around, although it was hot and humid. But a wild game, second highest scoring Southern Heritage Classic in history. And Jackson State wins for the first time since 2011, knocking off Tennessee State 49-44 at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. First hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays, the great folks at Davis Motorhome Mart. My brother, my sister-in-law, they are in town. They may even be listening to the show right now. I can't wait to see them today. But what do? They travel around the country in a beautiful motorhome. It wasn't purchased at Davis Motorhome, but there are a lot of people who love that lifestyle. And if you are looking at this, something down the road, maybe something now, but maybe it's something in the future, but you want to check it out. You want to get more information, talk to the right people. You need to head over to Davis Motorhome Mart. Over 7.5 acres of beautiful travel trailers, motorhomes, fifth wheels and toy haulers, towable half tons, motorhomes from 27 feet up to 45 feet in length. They have all the big name brands covered, like Winnebago, Coachman, Puma, Highland Ridge, Tiffin. In fact, they're a top 10 Tiffin dealer in the entire United States. Right now, they got a huge blowout sale going on all the 2019s because they are making room for the 2020s. This is a family-owned and operated business. They're at 1145 East Brooks Road here in Memphis. DavisMotorhome.com is the website. You can find out more information about them. You can call them at 901-332-3414. That's 901-332-3414. Call them. Tell them you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays. Any questions you need answered, they will answer them for you. Again, they've been in business a long time. They know what they're doing. It's Davis Motorhome Mart, first hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays. We'll take a timeout, come back with more college football talk. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Did you know Davis Motorhome Mart is one of the top 10 Tiffin dealers in the U.S.? Come tour the 7.5 acres of beautiful travel trailers, motorhomes, fifth wheels, and toy hauler towables half tons. Motorhomes from 27 feet up to 45 feet from brands like Winnebago, Coachman, Puma, Highland Ridge, and Tiffin. Take advantage of Davis Motorhome Mart's big blowout sale on 2019s and 2020s on their way. Stop by your gateway to travel freedom. Davis Motorhome Mart at 1145 East Brooks Road in Memphis. Call 901-332-3414 and cruise by the website davismotorhomes.com.
One of the things that makes a truly special restaurant special is its selection of bourbons and whiskeys, and 117 Prime is no exception. Try the William LaRue Weller with his high-toned pepper oak tingle at the finish, or the Weller 12-year, or Old Scout, a union of 2 whiskeys distilled from classic bourbon mash bills, and of course, 4 Roses single barrel. Sure, you're going to 117 Prime for a delicious meal, but why not also enjoy a delicious drink as well? As with everything else, if you want perfection downtown, you want 117 Prime.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. As most of you know, I don't have a history of bragging or boasting that Five Ash Roofing is the best roofer in the Memphis area, but did you know we are the only diamond level roofing professional in the area? We are one of very few local roofing companies that have been in business for 20 years. We've never had a justified claim against us. We are locally owned and family operated. Our labor warranties are for the life of the shingles. We're experts in insurance claim. We do residential and commercial work. We are the official roofer of the University of Memphis Athletic Department and a proud member of the Tigers home team. We support local youth sports and St. Jude's. We have worked with churches and veteran services to help those in need by providing services at a deep discount or even for free. We are currently working with Young Life to give them a free roof on the historic log cabin in Germantown. Five Ash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutoSales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Benswinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswinger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Benswinger Glass. Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Here once again are Greg and Eli.
Playing a little Cars music throughout Middays today, honoring Rick Ocasek, who passed away over the weekend.
That was my... I play Let the Good Times Roll after my last final every year, every semester of college.
Really? How about that?
My roommates and I would play Let the Good Times Roll. Summer was there, or the break was there, so it was
Pretty good theme song in the school year
to Let the Good Times Roll.
It's a great song, and yeah, it seems apropos.
A couple of texts here. The First Bank text line 67129. You can chime in via the text line. Again, 67129. You can also call in at 360-8255, or you can message us on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram, and YouTube. Somebody says Trask had an injury at the start of the season. I didn't realize Trask was hurt, but I still don't. He was
Felipe Franks was the starter.
Yeah,
he was his starter last year. He was going to be the starter again this year. There's not even a question who the starter was going into the season. It was Felipe Franks. That's not even a question. I don't care if he had an injury or whatever.
Somebody else says, is this the same type of people that think Adair is better than Brady White? Well, listen, the backup quarterback in a lot of places is a very popular guy until he actually has to play.
Extremely popular.
It's easy to be a popular guy as a backup quarterback until you actually have to get out there and show that you're how good you are.
I don't know about you, but I have confidence that most of the time the coach understands who the best quarterback is. They don't always get it right, but I think they know a little bit more than me and you and all our listeners. Unless Mike Norvell's listening to the show.
I would go with the people who see it every single day.
Right.
Over the people who don't see it at all, other than in the games.
I would say that.
And then they don't even see one of the guys because he probably doesn't play. Somebody else says Mississippi State whooped Kansas State in offensive yardage. Mississippi State should have won that game. Well, I mean, they outgained them by like 80 yards. Yes. I'm not sure if that's whooped.
No, I watched a lot of that game, and I thought there was a point in that game where Mississippi State was just going to take over physically because they always play physical football in Starkville. And I thought, Kansas State is a high-scoring Big 12 team. It's not Oklahoma. It's not even Texas. They're going to wilt here in the sun. Nope, that wasn't the case. They were throwing haymakers too, and from a physicality standpoint, they went toe-to-toe.
There was a little bit of dirty play in that game, too, I noticed. A couple of late shots, some tripping going on. That game got a little chippy.
A little bit.
News from the NFL. The Steelers have announced that Ben Roethlisberger, after the MRI, will need surgery on his right elbow. He is done for the year.
Wow.
So that means Mason Rudolph is the quarterback now.
Who I like, but certainly is no Ben Roethlisberger. The carnage.
That makes me wonder if I should keep Juju on my fantasy team or not.
The carnage continues early in the season. We're always going to have injuries. It's a brutal sport. But the names that are going down in the NFL, and then, of course, all these quarterbacks that we've talked about in college football, not the big names. We're not talking Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa and Trevor Lawrence, et cetera, but starters in the SEC going down left and right. But now Roethlisberger out, and we gave you the news about Drew Brees in our last segment, minimum 6 weeks. We'll see if the Saints can stay afloat because was it the Saints we both predicted to win the Super Bowl?
I did not pick the Saints to win the Super Bowl.
I'm trying to remember who I
did not have the Saints in the Super Bowl.
Okay, I'm going to have to look it up real quick here. We just did this 2 weeks ago.
I had the Eagles and the Chiefs.
You had the Eagles and the Chiefs.
I know I had the Chiefs in there. I can't remember who I had.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had the...
I think it was the Rams again I had.
Where is it? I'm sorry. I had the Chiefs, too. I had the Chiefs beating the Saints. That's what it was. So I had the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. I know we agreed on the Super Bowl winner, so it was the Super Bowl was the Chiefs.
Right now, the AFC is hard to picture anybody other than the Chiefs and the Patriots playing in the AFC Championship game.
Right.
We might as well skip the rest of the season and just fast forward to that game, which could be a great game. But it's hard to picture any other team in the AFC beating one of those two in the postseason.
How about the Dolphins with Ryan Fitzpatrick throws 3 picks, 2 return for touchdowns, and then they finally bring in Rosen, who wasn't great. But now they're like, well, we're thinking about maybe starting Rosen. Okay, yes, you should, but what are you trying to accomplish? Because it's still one of those rarities in football, because we see it all the time in basketball, but it's veiled sometimes in football, is the tanking. So if you want to be the worst team possible, so you're in line for Tua or whoever else, then you continue to use Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I don't think it matters. If you think changing to Josh Rosen is sudden, they're going to suddenly start winning games.
But he's the chosen Rosen.
I think you're sadly mistaken.
How about if they bring Bob Greasy back, Larry Zonka, and Paul Warfield? Is Paul Warfield still alive? Is my favorite all-time player. They have a chance, don't they, if they bring all those guys back?
How about the fact that, like, if everything works out right, they will have the last undefeated team and the last winless team. They could maybe, and we'll see.
Symmetry.
Will this team pop champagne every year when, like, the last team wins a game? Do they get to celebrate that? Raider Corey texted, he said, it's evident what's going on in South Florida, tanking for Tua. As their record states, they are now 0-2.
They are 0-2.
They're going to be 0-3.
I wonder if Bob Greasy is happy because he never wants them to go undefeated, but does he want them to go winless?
No,
he doesn't. It's embarrassing. They would like the Dolphins to be good. He just don't want to. They don't want the other team to go undefeated. But this week they get the Cowboys. Cowboys get their shot at them this week to have a little fun.
I wonder what the line will be for that. They're not as good as the Patriots, but it's going to have to be a high line because Vegas
minus 20.5.
Yeah,
I feel like Zeke Elliott's going to have a really good game.
Well, Vegas is going to have their lunch handed to them again if that's the case.
I believe what I saw the opener, it was either 20 or 20.5.
Elsewhere, college football, before we take the break, from a national standpoint, Clemson stymied Syracuse. I know they nearly lost to them and maybe should have last year. No match. Clemson's defense, losing all those players to the NFL, still great. Oh, and Trevor Lawrence offensively, not playing. What does he have, 5 picks now? Trevor Lawrence?
I'm not sure what the number is.
I think
he is not, like, that's the, he has not played very well, but their schedule is just so bad. There's no way they can lose a game.
That's why, I mean, people say, oh, look how bad the SEC is. What? I mean, yeah, there's a couple teams at the bottom of the SEC that are bad. Look at the damn ACC. Look at the ACC. And Virginia's probably the second best team and barely hung on against Florida State. Maybe Wake Forest. I
still don't get the people who say the SEC is not good this year. They have 5 of the top 10 in the poll and 6 of the top 20. They're still the best conference.
They're top heavy, certainly. But if you're just saying who the best team is, from what conference, and then consider that the best conference, then it would be the ACC because of Clemson. But the ACC is horrible after Clemson. I mean, really, really bad. There's a couple teams that are okay, and the rest are really, really bad. We mentioned UCF stuffing Stanford down in Orlando. Oklahoma rolled over UCLA, and Chip Kelly. I I don't know if this is going to be one of those deals where Chip Kelly just walks away after the season. I don't think this guy is enjoying himself. Notre Dame, they enjoyed themselves over the weekend, blew out New Mexico, and now they face Georgia in Athens this Saturday, one of the marquee games in college football. Mentioned Maryland's loss at Temple, and Ohio State destroyed Indiana. The Buckeyes look really, really good. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Connor O'Gara will join us from SaturdayDownSouth.com and SaturdayTradition.com. Then we'll get back to your calls and your texts. We'll get to the good, bad, and ugly from the weekend that was. Love to hear from you on this Monday. 1 hour in the books. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Benswinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswinger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswingerglass.com. Benswinger Glass.
Sundays and Mondays are special at the Butcher Shop, celebrating over 35 years of serving the Mid-South by giving a big thank you to you, their loyal customers. You can come in, relax, watch your favorite games, and enjoy hand-cut steaks along with a premium bar. Sunday and Monday nights from 5 until 8:30, you can get select entrees for $25. That includes a salad, baked potato, and bread, and you don't have to pick one, you get all three. Some of those entrees are 10-ounce New York strip steak, slow-roasted prime rib, Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, marinated grilled chicken breast, grilled boneless pork chops, and crab-stuffed shrimp. Plus, all appetizers and desserts are 20% off. Don't forget, Hamburger Friday every Friday from 11 to 2. It's the best. The Butcher Shop, always a Memphis tradition. Call 901-757-4244, 901-757-4244 for more information, or just stop in at 107 South Germantown Parkway in Cordova.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up, with the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park. Top Tracer gathers data such as distance, carry, ball speed, and more. Compete against friends in a points game, long drive, and virtual golf at courses such as Pebble Beach and St. Andrews. Golf and Games Family Park is a great setting for group and company outings, golf lessons, or individual practice. Experience fun, friends, family, and introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park, 5484 Summer Avenue.
Need physical therapy but don't know where to go? Tried physical therapy but had a bad experience? Grab your physician's referral and head to Revolution Physical Therapy at the corner of Goodman and Getwell. At Revolution PT, you'll get one-on-one, hands-on therapy. Better and more thorough than just going to the gym. Revolution is locally owned and staffed by neighbors who care about your maximum recovery. And they accept all major insurances. Certified in dry needling, expert in myofascial release. Always relaxed and friendly. Revolution Physical Therapy is just what you need.
If you're an outdoorsman and love all things hunting and fishing, be sure to listen to Sports 56 Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. for Outdoors Today. Brought to you by the Gun Store, 6920 Winchester in Memphis. Outdoors Today is a one-hour show hosted by veteran Mark Tobin and a group of respected outdoor-loving guests. Outdoors Today is dedicated to bringing outdoorsmen tips and techniques and tactics to help with your hunting and fishing in all seasons. Saturday mornings at 6 on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM.
Jim Gray from Westwood One with a Monday Night Football preview, sponsored by Prilosec OTC. Kick your antacid habit with Prilosec OTC. The 50th season of Monday Night Football celebrates the anniversary of the first game with the same matchup. The New York Jets hosting the Cleveland Browns. The Jets will be without quarterback Sam Darnold due to mononucleosis. For Cleveland, they look to bounce back from a 30-point beatdown by the Titans. Baker Mayfield says they just need to put that one behind them.
It's game one of a long season, to get to where we want to go.
you're going to have bumps in the road. I'm not going to let it define us and see what type of men we have in this locker room. And I'm pretty sure I have a good idea about it.
Kevin Harlan and Tony Baselli will have the call when the Jets host the Browns on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long on ESPN Bakersfield. 12:30 a.m., 101.1 FM. Your leader in sports coverage.
Pros, for the supplies you use most, start with Lowe's. Because Lowe's stocks the right quantities you need for any size job, like treated lumber, fencing, and decking. Load up on savings when you buy in bulk and get up to 30% off select 80-pound bags of Quikrete or Sacrete. Plus, get 5% off eligible purchases every day with your Lowe's Business Credit account. For other great benefits Lowe's offers pros, stop by and talk to your dedicated pro team today. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Subject to credit approval, can't be combined with other credit offers. Excluding supplies. See store for details. U.S. only.
Do you have frequent heartburn, like the kind of heartburn where you stash antacids everywhere? You feel like you got to have those chalky tablets just in case heartburn strikes. If that's you, you do know that there's an easier way to deal with heartburn, right? Prilosec OTC, just one pill a day will last a full 24 hours with zero heartburn. With Prilosec OTC, you can actually simply not get heartburn in the first place. No more stashing antacids. Try Prilosec OTC. One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Here once again are Greg and Eli.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:03 the time. Hour 2, Sports 56 Middays on this Monday, September 16th, 2019. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoie, Austin Eldridge. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Sports 56 Middays is delivered each and every day by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. FedEx can help provide global access for your business. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. Before we bring Connor on, 2 quick notes from the world of college football. Adam Williams, the superb punter for the University of Memphis, named the American Conference Special Teams Player of the Week. Also, Austin Hall was an honorable mention. He had a scoop and score for the Tigers in their win over South Alabama.
He's a heck of a player. I got to give it to him. He is a heck of a player.
He has had a tremendous career. Also, Jerry Kill, the former head coach at Minnesota, who has been the AD at Southern Illinois, is leaving that position to join Virginia Tech. He will be a special assistant to Justin Fuente.
They need some special assistants over there when they're struggling as much as they did against the mighty Furman. By the way, that the Cowboys-Dolphins line is currently at 21.
I may go bet on that. That may be the first time I ever bet on something.
It is time for Connor O'Gara.
It's time to talk some SEC and college football on Sports 56 Middays. Joining Greg and Eli is Connor O'Gara from SaturdayDownSouth.com. Now, here's Connor with Greg and Eli.
Connor O'Gara, senior national columnist, SaturdayDownSouth.com, SaturdayTradition.com, joins us every Monday during the college football season. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. I was saying earlier, Connor, on the show that I don't know why we all didn't just pool our money, go to the casino, go to the sports book, and bet it all on the Patriots to cover 18 against the Miami Dolphins. We'd all be retired today.
That probably would have been a good idea, but the Patriots lose in Miami every year, don't they? I know they're tanking for Tua and all that stuff, but I don't know. That thing sort of scared me. It's easy to look in hindsight, like, oh yeah, of course they're going to win 43-0, but I don't know, man. I'm not betting the house on that.
Yeah, but that's Miami with a pulse in years past. They have no pulse this year. They are tanking for Tua. That is an awful, awful football team. But anyway, it was a fairly awful schedule in college football this past weekend, but this weekend we finally have a bunch of top 25 matchups, so I can't wait for this weekend. But from this past weekend, what floated your boat? What did you think was exceptional from the weekend that we just had in college football?
How about that Florida-Kentucky game? I mean, just wild down the stretch. I make it a point of viewing to watch those two teams play every year, despite the fact that the rivalry numbers are so one-sided in Florida's favor. But I thought, again, this was going to be a great game. And, 2 weeks ago, if you had asked me, I thought Kentucky was going to win that game, and Terry Wilson was going to be a big reason why. Obviously, him being hurt now for the year changed my pick, and it changed my thinking. And then go figure, we see Felipe Franks go down with a season-ending injury, only to have Kyle Trask come in and lead this comeback in the fourth quarter to stave off an upset. And to me, that was just a great down-to-the-wire game against two teams that I think are good. Like, I think Florida's defense is going to keep it in a lot of games this year. And while the offensive line has major issues, I think that Florida is just going to be a wild team to watch week to week. I made the comments during the game. This is the sixth time in 7 SEC East meetings dating back to the start of 2018, so just the Dan Mullen era, that Florida has trailed in the fourth quarter against a divisional team. I mean, that's amazing to think about when we're talking about a top 10 team here, and we're talking about a division that many consider to be, one of the weaker ones in the country, in Power 5 at least. So, yeah, I mean, that game was just so entertaining, and watching Sawyer Smith and Kyle Trask battle it out in the fourth quarter. I mean, go figure. But, yeah, it was a pretty weak slate overall. Iowa State, though, was really, really good. A shame that game had to end in such weird fashion with two dudes running into each other on a punt return. But this slate could have been worse. I mean, at least we get college football. It's better than a mid-July day, right?
Yeah, I was getting worried that Iowa State game, they were going to be at that stadium for like 24 hours with the delays and everything else. That game was, it's like every time they started it back up, then they got to go right back into a delay. I'm like, this poor kids, man, that's a long day at the office. We had a couple of Florida fans. I was talking to one yesterday, actually, that we've had somebody text in. That they say that they believe Trask is actually better than Felipe Franks. What do you think?
I know a lot of people are saying this, and this is a very popular time. I get a lot of things wrong. I really do. I predicted before the 2018 season that Kyle Trask was going to start at quarterback and that Felipe Franks was never going to see the field. I thought Felipe was going to transfer. I am more of a believer in Kyle Trask, especially after what we saw from him in relief on Saturday night. This is a guy that I've been saying for a while now. I think he's capable of executing Dan Mullen's system. And I know that a lot of Florida fans were baffled that he even got an offer. Here's a kid who was a backup his entire high school career to De'Aaron King, the Houston quarterback. Didn't even start in high school. And Florida fans were like, why is this kid even getting an offer? He was the lowest rated recruit in that class, which also featured Felipe Franks, ironically enough. And at the same time, he's somebody that the more and more you heard coaches talk about him, you watch him in the spring game, you're like, this kid just kind of gets it. He's like a really accurate quarterback. He's big. He's kind of unfazed, and he has more mobility than we probably realize. Though he doesn't have the same mobility, obviously, as Felipe Franks. He's not able to make some of those dazzling throws, but I think he's capable of executing Dan Mullen's system. I think there's a reason that Dan Mullen put in him and not Emory Jones, the very highly regarded redshirt freshman who was expected to do some really good things in Florida. Still can, obviously. But this job belongs to Kyle Trask, and I think that with those skill players that they have on the outside, he's going to be able to do some really good things. He's been waiting for this moment, and I don't see their season falling off a cliff just because Felipe Franks is out.
Look, I agree with that. Don't get me wrong. I think he can do a nice job now taking over. But the people that say he was the better quarterback, I'm going to defer to Dan Mullen, that right. Dan Mullen believes that Felipe Franks was the better quarterback. If not, maybe everybody who's listening to the show and has had a comment on that should be the head coach, because I'm going to defer to a guy who's been around the game for a long time and knows what he's doing.
Oh, exactly right. And to Felipe's credit, as much as he's had this up and down career, Dan Mullen was proven right by sticking with him because of the fact that they won a New Year's Six Bowl last year. I mean, let's not forget that. Felipe did some really good things, played extremely well down the stretch last season, and Dan Mullen saw the upside, saw the potential in Felipe Franks in ways that I definitely didn't, and I thought he kind of was what he was at that point of his career. So I give Dan Mullen all the credit in the world for making that decision. Let's also not forget that Felipe Franks was benched in that Mizzou game last year, and Kyle Trask came in and played better than Felipe was. And if Kyle Trask doesn't break his foot in the practice the following week, then we could be talking about a totally different set of circumstances here. So Kyle Trask is somebody that a lot of Florida fans, obviously, they're sipping the Kool-Aid right now. But at the same time, yeah, I agree with you that Dan Mullen, made the best decision for his football team. He did what he thought needed to be done, and now he's, made a decision that Florida fans are going to have to rally behind again.
Speaking of backup quarterbacks, what do you take out of Mississippi State's loss to Kansas State other than Garrett Schrader's amazing, got in the 50 feet in the air, falling, trying to, one of the great plays in the history of college football just to watch, even though he came up short?
I've never been that high on a roller coaster. I mean, my goodness.
He had to feel like he was in the air for 20 minutes. That had to be the longest fall ever.
I don't even know what to equate it to. Like when when you're swinging on a swing set and you jump off a swing set, but then you get hit in midair or something. I don't know. It was just it was crazy to watch that play unfold. But yeah, I mean, my takeaway from this game was that I think Tommy Stevens rushed it a little bit. I don't think he was 100% right. I know that a lot of people are really, really ripping him on social media for some of the throws he was making, the fumble that he had where it just kind of slipped out of his hand. I'm not sure if that had something to do with that. But whatever the case, Tommy Stevens was not the quarterback that he was in those first couple games. And Joe Moorhead said he pulled him because, he looked like he was still experiencing some stiffness in his shoulder, the injury that he suffered the week prior against Southern Miss. And Garrett Schrader gave them a better chance to win the football game on Saturday. And I believe that. To Garrett Schrader's credit, guy did everything in his power, including risking his body in the most dramatic fashion possible in order to win that game, but they came up short. And they still have some issues. I think Mississippi State is just kind of undisciplined at this point. And I'm as big of a Joe Moorhead believer as there is. I mean, seriously, on the face of the earth, I am the biggest. But at the same time, I think that they're a little bit undisciplined. I think they get into too much stuff, too much kind of the talking, jawing back and forth when it's just go play the game. Just go play the game. You have a job to do here. So, yeah, I think Mississippi State has some issues. And defensively, they weren't able to stop the run against a Kansas State team that's kind of putting a lot of people on notice right now. Credit Chris Kleiman for coming in and doing some really good things on the road, tough atmosphere, and pulling out a win. But, yeah, Mississippi State's a little bit of a question mark moving forward, and they're going to have to face a really good Kentucky team.
So do you think Keaton Thompson knew the situation when he came back out of the transfer portal back to Mississippi State, that he would not be the backup to Tommy Stevens? This is a weird thing with him. Was he not getting any bites when he was in the portal? By the way, what's it feel like in the portal?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a fascinating question that I've asked a lot of people about. But yeah, I think he's dealing with a thumb issue right now too. I think he's had some limitations as well. But yeah, that surprised me too, because initially when you're like, okay, well, that's the good news for this situation. If Tommy Stevens can't go, then Keaton Thompson should be able to. Somebody that people forget beat Lamar Jackson in a bowl game. I mean, with a completely different offensive staff. You give him a lot of credit for doing that, but. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's got to be something that's holding him back. And you know what? Maybe Joe Moorhead just doesn't feel like Keaton Thompson has progressed enough as a passer, and he feels like Garrett Schrader is more polished in that department. He's going to give him a better chance to win. I don't know. If Tommy Stevens can get right, we won't have to tackle that question in the future, though.
This week, Georgia hosts Notre Dame in a top 10 matchup. Georgia has looked really incredible so far this year. What do you think they have any problems with Notre Dame?
The one question that I have in this game, the one real question is still, I mean, it's the question that I had coming into the season. It's the Georgia receivers. It's can they get open in those key situations when Jake Fromm is facing 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. It's a tie game. It's in the second half, and you need somebody that can just kind of settle in and somebody that Jake Fromm can trust. Now, we've seen that rapport with these young group of receivers develop against lesser opponents. But can they get separation against a defense that has had a really good start so far? Can they really be able to make those big-time plays? We've all talked about a guy in George Pickens who just seemingly makes a new ridiculous highlight every single week. And I love the play that he made the other day where it's a back shoulder throw. It's Jake Fromm doing exactly what he does best, and he makes this toe-tipping catch going out of bounds. And Pickens had this reaction where he pointed at Jake Fromm right after. He was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the type of rapport that we need to have. We need to see that against Notre Dame. That's the big question that we have against Georgia. We know the offensive line's good. We know the backfield is dominant, and we know that Fromm is really good. But we need to be able to see that rapport from the receivers because they're going to be put in tougher situations, adverse situations in this game. And I think that as raucous as that atmosphere is going to be, Notre Dame's going to be able to hang around for a little bit, and they're going to put some pressure on Georgia to make some plays. But, yeah, if you're asking me to pick this game, I do think that Georgia wins. And, that 12.5-point spread, I would tend to think that Georgia's going to be able to cover it.
All right, tell me if you agree with the following statement. In this game, if Notre Dame loses, they're done as far as the playoff is concerned. If Georgia loses, they're not done.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, that's based on evidence of what we've seen in the playoff with the selection committee so far. But without a conference championship, it's just so tough for Notre Dame. I mean, fair or unfair, that is the situation that they have put themselves in with the playoff. They're just not going to be able to benefit from that. I mean, let's not forget last year they were undefeated, and there were people who were saying that they didn't belong in, and that 2-loss Georgia did. I mean, that's the type of world that we're living in with the playoff. And until Notre Dame acknowledges that, that's going to continue to be an issue moving forward. Now, if they win that game, holy cow. I mean, we're talking about Notre Dame in a totally different light. To go on the road at Georgia in that atmosphere and to pull out a win as a double-digit dog, Notre Dame better be getting some respect if that were to happen. But, I think Georgia would still technically be alive. But at the same time, let's not forget, there has been one team that has made the playoff without a Power 5 win in non-conference play. That was 2014 Ohio State. They lost that game to Virginia Tech, and everybody buried them, and they had to win out and then some. And then there are a lot of people that say they didn't belong in that playoff even though they won the championship. That's the type of thing that we're talking about here. Power 5 non-conference wins are very, very important, and Georgia needs to get a big one this weekend. And I know Notre Dame's not Power 5, but let's be honest, they basically are.
They're in the Power 5 +1, which is what it is. There's
exactly.
a +1 in the Power 5. Who do you like in the Auburn Texas A&M game?
Man, that's fascinating. It's really, really tough to pick against Auburn at this point, just because I think that defensive line is really, really good. As long as Derek Brown can be healthy for that one. He left that game in the first quarter over the weekend with some sort of fatigue, illness type thing. Apparently he was battling sickness all week, and he just was gassed in the beginning of that game, couldn't catch his breath. He needs to be back and right for this game, because this is a Texas A&M rushing attack that, yes, they lost Jashaun Corbin, but they have a very capable back in Isaiah Spiller, who had a nice breakout game this past weekend. And Kellen Mond, we know what he can do with his legs as well. I think that Auburn's going to be able to go in there and get a win. And I say that a little bit reluctantly, just because I know the offense has had some issues. Bo Nix is still trying to figure out who he is as a passer. That offense is still trying to really find its identity. But I think that Bo Nix can establish some things with the passing game in this one. I think they're going to be able to do some things to exploit a secondary that, under Mike Elko has not been great yet. They're really, really good at stopping the run. I think that's partially why Gus has had so many pass plays put in for Bo Nix early on, because he knows that they need to be able to throw the ball to beat this A&M team, and especially to do so on the road. And if that happens, gentlemen, we could be talking about 4 SEC teams in the top 5. I mean, that's not a crazy possibility in this Sunday poll. If the Georgia-Notre Dame result goes as expected, and if Auburn goes into College Station and wins, who's to say that 4 SEC teams don't belong in the top 5?
Aren't we playing right now, not me personally, but aren't they playing for 2 spots right now? The SEC champion's going to be in the playoff, and Clemson is not losing. They're going undefeated again. Isn't it for 2 spots?
There's a good chance at it, but I would still tend to think that, man, if Oklahoma and Ohio State have something like, if they're like a 1-loss conference champ, then I mean that's going to have a major impact, just because I mean those teams they're so high profile early in the season. We're really not questioning them. Last year was different with Ohio State, where they just get absolutely trucked by Purdue in that game, and they really didn't play that well down the stretch. They were a team that they looked like they regressed. They almost lost against Maryland. I mean, if Ohio State is able to keep its foot on the gas and do kind of like what they did this past weekend at Indiana, where they blew the doors off them. That game wasn't even close. If Ohio State and Oklahoma do that, then I don't think having a second team in the playoff for the SEC would necessarily be their first choice. I think the selection committee would really take a whole lot of heat for doing that. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely still a path. There's even a path for LSU if LSU loses to Bama to get into the playoff field because of what it did against Texas. Now, I'm not saying that would definitely happen, but I think there's a path still there. And I think with how well the SEC contenders have looked in non-conference play so far, if that continues this weekend with Georgia beating Notre Dame, then yeah, I think the path for a 2-team playoff is definitely there.
Oh, no, look, I completely agree. All I'm saying is this. There is no way there is going to be a playoff without one SEC team. So
for sure.
You're going to have at least one from the SEC. And Clemson isn't losing to any of these rugrats in the ACC. So you're basically talking about 2 spots. And right now, Ohio State looks great. Oklahoma looks great. LSU looks great. We'll see what happens with Notre Dame and Georgia. I mean, it'll eventually dwindle a little bit, especially if they pick up a loss here or there. But right now, I think it's down to 2 spots already.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, and let's not forget about the wild card, the little fly in the ointment, as they are every single year. UCF. I've come on this show and I said that I think Memphis is going to represent the Group of 5 in a New Year's Six bowl. But if Memphis, or if UCF rather, if they blow the doors off of Pitt up at Heinz Field, a week removed from Penn State really, really struggling to put away Pitt, and Pitt maybe wins that game if Pat Narduzzi understands what it means to go for it on 4th down and not kick a field goal in that situation.
I have no idea what he was doing.
Oh, just absolutely ridiculous. But if UCF goes up there and blows them out, I mean, that's 2 consecutive wins against Power 5 teams that, I mean, are at least bowl teams on a yearly basis, and Stanford looks down, but I think that would send a loud message to the selection committee. And maybe after, in 3 years of this thing, maybe UCF is able to get a little bit more momentum. That's just something to kind of keep an eye on. I wrote about it yesterday for SDS, something to just keep in the back of your mind. And if Memphis goes into that AAC championship undefeated to face UCF, that obviously would help them as well. But yeah, I think that's the one thing to kind of remember as we talk about the playoff field and how we feel like it's set already.
Well, first of all, it's a terrific story you wrote. But they've been trying to make noise and have been making noise for 3 years now, and it's fallen on deaf ears. So it's unfortunate, but they are not. I mean, I looked at what they did to Stanford, and they didn't move 1 spot in the poll. Now, granted, most of the teams won in front of them, but there was 1 or 2 that I thought, well, they didn't have a real convincing win. They blew the doors off of Stanford. They blew the doors off. They should get more respect, but I just don't see it. All right, real quick, rapid fire. Just win. Tell me who's going to win. Tennessee at Florida. Is it going to be an easy one for Florida?
Florida doesn't make anything easy, but I think Florida with Kyle Trask, home debut in the SEC. Yeah, give me the Gators to win that one.
Florida doesn't make it easy, but Tennessee makes it easy on their opponents.
That's why it was hard to phrase it, because of the struggles of Tennessee. But I think they'll at least give them a battle. I do. Cal at Ole Miss.
Gosh, that one's tough. I do like Justin Wilcox a lot. I think Cal wins that game, and I think that defense that went up to Washington and shut down Jacob Eason, I think that they're going to start to get a little bit more respect. I think that that's a really, really tough ask for an Ole Miss offense that is still very inexperienced, is still kind of figuring out the ropes a little bit. So, yeah, give me Cal to win that one.
All right, and one more, Michigan at Wisconsin.
Oh, man. Gosh. I haven't picked this game yet, and if you would ask me in the preseason, I said Michigan, but I can't look at what that Wisconsin defense has done so far and not pick them to win that game. Haven't a lot of point yet. Having a lot of point yet. That is really, really hard to do, even if you're playing against air. I mean, that's an amazing feat, and I think the issues with that Michigan offense, it's tough to sit here right now and say that they're going to figure it out on the road at Camp Randall. That is a tough ask of that Michigan offense. So I do think that Wisconsin's able to pull one out and kind of shake things up in the Big Ten.
We have some terrific matchups. Finally, this weekend is going to be an extremely important weekend. Connor will have it all covered. Senior national columnist, SaturdayDownSouth.com, SaturdayTradition.com. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara and catch him next Monday right here on Middays. Thanks, Connor. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Take care.
Yeah, the Wisconsin defense is, so far, they've given up 215 yards in 2 games.
Yeah, they've been pretty incredible.
They're 100 yards per game better than the second-place team in the country. They've given up nothing so far.
But now we start to see these conference matchups and the separation, and that's why this is a very important week to kick things off and kind of set the tone early in conference play. Lawn Solutions is a locally weed-control fertilization company that serves the greater Memphis area. Brandon Holly is the owner. Just a great guy, really, really terrific guy, and he has true professionals that work for him. They know what they're doing. They can take care of your lawn, get you that green, beautiful, plush lawn you're looking for, but kill the weeds. That's what they do. They can kill those weeds. Call him. Tell him I sent you. 901-867-5626. 901-867-5626. They take care of my lawn. They should be taking care of yours as well. LawnSolutionsInc.net is the website. They control the germination of weeds all year long, even during the winter months, the dormant months with your grass. They're applying the pre-emergence. And in the summer, it's the post-emergence. That's going on right now. They can take care of any disease your lawn has or any insect infestation. They are really good, locally owned and operated. It's Lawn Solutions, LawnSolutionsInc.net, or call Brandon Holly today at 901-867-5626. We'll take a timeout, come back with more Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports Time with Rollo and Stats. Every weekday afternoon from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It's an exciting time to be a Memphis Tiger fan, and we at Five-Ash Roofing have decided to share our excitement. We are proud members of the Tigers home team, which means we sponsor the Tigers athletic department, and we're also season ticket holders to both the football and basketball programs. We will be giving away 2 and sometimes 4 tickets to most of the games this coming year. To have a chance at winning the tickets, find our Facebook page, like, and share our post. The more you share, the more chances you have to win. We also want to give away some tickets to those who wouldn't otherwise get a chance to go. So, you can go to memphisroofer.com or 5ash.com and send us a note why you or someone you know should get the tickets. And as always, 5Ash Roofing is fair, honest, and ethical. We're experts in all forms of roofing for both residential and commercial buildings. 5Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Put the Case IH legacy of power and efficiency to work in your hayfields and feedlot. Mid-South Ag Equipment has tough Case IH farm-all tractors that can handle a variety of chores fast. With their expert blend of engine and hydraulic power, farm-all tractors can easily tackle loading and material handling chores, as well as mowing and baling. Models range from 65 to 90 horsepower, so you're sure to find one that's perfectly powered for the jobs you do. Stop in or call 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag Equipment, your Case IH headquarters.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Lemon Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC-accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Lemon Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemonbrace.com.
Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Looking for great seafood? Head to the Half Shell, voted Memphis's favorite seafood 5 years in a row. Enjoy delicious seafood at the Half Shell for lunch and dinner, along with the Half Shell's extensive new wine list. Or relax at the bar, open daily until 3 a.m. For a great weekend, try Saturday and Sunday brunch at the Half Shell from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Half Shell, always Memphis's favorite. Available for private parties, catering, and daily box lunch delivery. The Half Shell, serving full food menu till 2 a.m. daily. 2 locations on Mendenhall and on Winchester.
Introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park. Top Tracer gathers data such as distance, carry, ball speed, and more. Compete against friends in a points game, long drive, and virtual golf at courses such as Pebble Beach and St. Andrews. Golf and Games Family Park is a great setting for group and company outings, golf lessons, or individual practice. Experience fun, friends, family, and introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park, 5484 Summer Avenue.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Here once again are Greg and Eli.
Man, every single Cars song, fantastic. as we celebrate the life of Rick Ocasek, tragically passed away in his Manhattan apartment. No foul play expected, or it looked like natural causes is what we're hearing preliminary indications. But married to one of the great supermodels, Paulina, I can't pronounce her last name. Paulina begins with a P, beautiful, beautiful woman. And he was a great singer. He was a great leader of that band, and passed away over the weekend at the age of 75.
So Giants coach Pat Shurmur asked today whether Eli Manning is his starting quarterback. Said he's been our starter to this point. I'm not ready to talk about that. So somebody said, well, you do understand that will lead to speculation. He said, I understand. So we could, in one fell swoop here, for assorted reasons, lose Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, and Eli Manning, all as starting quarterbacks in 1 week.
Isn't that crazy? And Tom Brady just continues to do his thing with a new weapon in Antonio Brown now.
Out of the three, Tom Brady has the best offensive line, for sure.
If all three, let's say Manning doesn't start, we know Brees and Roethlisberger are out. How many starting quarterbacks would there be in the NFL this week that have a Super Bowl title?
Rodgers, Brady, Flacco.
Flacco's back, baby. He was looking elite on Sunday. Yeah, that Rodgers, Brady, and Flacco for sure. Foles is out, so he wouldn't be it. Yeah. Wentz, I guess, technically has a Super Bowl title, but he wasn't the quarterback when they won it.
Yeah, he's one of the guys who actually played in the game and won it.
Let me look at the teams.
I think that would be it.
Ryan played in one but lost.
We'd have three guys.
Wow.
We'll lose three. And we'll have three.
Well, so New Orleans, now again, Drew Brees, they're saying 6 weeks minimum. I think it might be more than that. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on the radio.
Well, they said they won't know until they actually do the surgery. So they get in there and see this when they'll know for sure.
That's true.
Russell Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah, that's the other one. I knew there was one more. I just could not think of who it was.
And he looks as healthy as could be after that performance. But New Orleans' backup is Teddy Bridgewater, although you were probably watching the game and you heard the announcers talk about Sean Payton, who said that he believes Taysom Hill is what did he say? He's compared him to Steve Young.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by exactly how they do this. If they are going to use Hill at quarterback with him out, whether it's Bridgewater, do they use both of them? I'm kind of intrigued how they're going to play this because. They talk about how much they love. They've been, often talked about how much they love Taysom Hill and think of him as not just like the way they use it now, but literally as it could be a quarterback.
You wonder why there are so many recycled veteran quarterbacks out there. Josh McNown comes from the broadcast booth back into an NFL situation because there are so many injuries. And that's why it's mind-boggling when you have somebody like Paxton Lynch, who doesn't have a job in the NFL, did not perform up to snuff, and was a first-round pick. When you see what's happening around the league with all these injuries, and Gardner Minshew came out of nowhere, finally hooked up with Mike Leach in Washington State and put up some numbers, and now he's the starting quarterback because of Nick Foles' injury. We mentioned Teddy Bridgewater. And who knows if Taysom Hill will jump in there to back up Drew Brees. In Pittsburgh now you have Mason Rudolph. Remember, they had just traded Josh Dobbs to Jacksonville, who's now backing up Minshew. And now they're going to need another quarterback. You have Indianapolis that all of a sudden Andrew Luck retires. Brissett moves up to the starter. They get Hoyer from New England to back him up. There's always a need for quarterbacks because it's unfortunate, but the attrition rate, it's high. Guys going down left and right. We're seeing it in college. We're seeing it in the NFL early in the football season.
Somebody texted in. They said, is Chad Kelly with the Colts?
He is. He was suspended for the first 2 games, so he's now eligible. But I don't know if they're going to have him active because Hoyer is the backup now to Brissett. I wouldn't believe that they would have 3 active quarterbacks. You never see that anymore. So I would think that he's on the team. He's on the Colts. By the way, hats off to Jordan Wilkins, friend of the show, former St. Benedict and Auburndale Eagle, former Ole Miss Rebel, had that huge run against the Titans in the 4th quarter, which led to the Brissett touchdown pass to T.Y. Hilton and the eventual game winner for the Colts in the comeback win over the Titans. Good for Jordan Wilkins.
5 carries, 80-something yards for the day.
Yeah.
I think it was the leading rusher in the game. So very, very good to see that.
Elsewhere in the NFL, Antonio Brown, man. Antonio Brown, first touchdown as a member of the Patriots. The Pats, of course, toyed with the Dolphins, winning 43-0. Could have been 143-0. But Antonio Brown back in the news, this time for football on Sunday, for actually catching a pass and scoring a touchdown. But now there's a story. Is it an SI?
Yep.
Another scathing story out there on Antonio Brown, the person. Not the football player, the human being.
Yeah, apparently it includes some, I've not read it, but it includes some accusations by at least one other woman. And then there's some other things about him not paying off debt and things like it. From just the little snippets I've read, it does not paint Antonio Brown as a real upstanding guy.
No. And then you had the story over the weekend about whether or not there was a payoff. What's the young lady's name again, Austin?
Brittany Taylor.
With Brittany Taylor, if there was negotiations for a payoff and you saw the number $2 million brought up and it ended up not happening to avoid, again, allegedly avoid the civil suit that has been lodged against him. Obviously that has happened, so there was no kind of payoff or no payoff at all with her and Antonio Brown. It's a big old mess, but on the field, Tom Brady has another weapon.
That they're pretty good. They've only allowed 3 points through 2 games too. Beyond all the offensive weapons, got a defense that has allowed 3 points through 2 games. That's pretty good. They're okay. Speaking of okay, way better than okay is East Coast Wings and Grill. If you're looking to go watch the games, it's a great place to do it because they've got all kinds of TVs, all the games on for you to watch. And, of course, the food and the drinks are fantastic at East Coast Wings and Grill. 60 different flavors of wings that are available. Also, many draft beers on tap. They got a lot of other different foods on the menu as well. All of the food is fresh, never frozen stuff. Flatbreads, sausage and cheese plate, the burgers, juicy Angus burgers. Monday, that's today, it's wing day. 65-cent boneless wings, 75-cent bone-in wings. Thursdays, you can do the 65-cent boneless wings as well. Happy hour, Monday through Friday from 3:30 until 6 and 9 to close. $12 buckets of beer, half-price appetizers and draft beers, 2-for-1 wines. All kinds of great things for you to choose from. It's East Coast Wings and Grill. Tomorrow is poker night. Wednesday, they'll have live music. Go check them out. East Coast Wings and Grill, just off Highway 64 next to Lowe's. It is East Coast Wings and Grill.
Paulina Poroskova, the model from Czechoslovakia who married Rick Ocasek, the leader of the Cars, back in 1989. That was the name I was trying to figure out, but Rick Ocasek passing away over the weekend at his Manhattan apartment, their Manhattan apartment, and 75 years of age, on the heels of the Eddie Money news from the other day. All right, when we come back, we'll talk a little about Tim Tebow's comments that he had to say Friday, I believe it was, that stirred up a lot of controversy in the sports world about what his reaction was to the bill that's going to soon become, I would imagine, law in California once the governor signs it, about paying amateur players for their likeness, their use of their likeness, and things of that ilk, not paying players from the college, but having these players with the capability of being able to make money off their name, off their likeness. And Tim Tebow went off about that. Also, Marc Gasol and Spain do it, and he gets the rare double-double. We will talk about that. We got the good, the bad, the ugly still to come, and we'd love to hear from you. First Bank phone lines open at 360-8255. First Bank text line 67129. Message us at Sports56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
All right, let's pull up over here and drop a line. Are your feet wet? My feet are wet. Here's the drain plug. You put the plug in the drain, right? It's on the dock.
There's a reason they say curse like a sailor. Many reasons. Progressive's boat insurance has you covered. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire-roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Listen up, Rebel fans. You can now listen to Rebel Yell Hotline on 87.7 FM or on the web each and every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. If you can't listen to 87.7 FM, Sports 56 has made it possible to listen online each and every week. All you have to do is go to sports56whbq.com and click on the Rebel Yell Hotline banner to listen. That's Rebel Yell Hotline each and every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on 87.7 FM or on the web at sports56whbq.com.
Need physical therapy but don't know where to go? Tried physical therapy but had a bad experience? Grab your physician's referral and head to Revolution Physical Therapy at the corner of Goodman and Getwell. At Revolution PT, you'll get one-on-one, hands-on therapy. Better and more thorough than just going to the gym. Revolution is locally owned and staffed by neighbors who care about your maximum recovery. And they accept all major insurances. Certified in dry needling, expert in myofascial release. Always relaxed and friendly. Revolution Physical Therapy is just what you need.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Here once again are Greg and Eli.
Welcome back, everybody. 11:45 is the time. I want to salute the Titans. I know they had their own issues dealing with pyrotechnics burning down the sidelines and a loss to the Colts, but honoring the way they did and retiring the jerseys of Eddie George and the late Steve McNair together, I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's the guy that plays for them? Is it Quisenberry that had the cancer story, too? That was a cool story for the Titans. He came back from lymphoma. I think it's a big tight end.
Right, that's right. Yeah, that was a good story too. But you're talking about 2 legendary players, probably the biggest legends in the history of that organization. Number 9 and number 27 will never be worn again.
Got a text here on the First Bank text line. It says, if you remove Clemson from the ACC, would the AAC be a better conference?
You can make the argument. Right now. I mean, I still expect down the road Florida State. I don't think it's going to be with Willie Taggart, but they will be back to where they once were. And Miami, I think, certainly can get back to where they once were. And once those teams get back, the ACC, Virginia Tech, where they once were. I mean, they're all right there, but they're not there yet. So to answer that person's question, you take away Clemson right now, you can make that argument the American Conference is good or better than the ACC. With a straight face, I could say that. Absolutely 100%. Now, down the road, once those other teams figure out what's going on, then forget about it. When Florida State, Miami, Virginia Tech, all those guys are where they usually are for all these years, all these decades past, then it's a different ballgame.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, when you look at the ACC, I mean, certainly you wouldn't say any of those other teams are better than UCF.
No, UCF would be the best team of the two conferences.
I don't know how good Virginia actually is.
They could have easily lost to Florida State. We know they're struggling, and that was at home.
I mean, is Virginia definitely better than Memphis? I don't think so.
No. And Wake Forest's defense is playing really well. They're off to a great start.
I mean, obviously Wake Forest beat Memphis last year in the bowl game, but I don't know what you take out of that. I mean, Darrell Henderson did not play for Memphis in that game.
No, Wake's a solid team. But, gosh, so many teams are struggling. Kansas went to Boston College and put 48 up on them and ended a long road Power 5 losing streak.
Yeah,
Kansas.
This is not the week. Like, if you're an ACC backer, this is a week you just kind of keep your mouth shut based on the way the week for them went for them. I mean, it was a disastrous week for the entire conference other than Clemson, basically.
Right.
When you consider what,
Georgia Tech lost to the Citadel.
They almost lost 2 FCS games. I mean, Virginia Tech very well could have lost to Furman down 14-3 at the half, and Georgia Tech did lose. Boston College losing to Kansas, who might as well be an FCS team. NC State got handled by West Virginia, who's not very good at all. Like, West Virginia's in a complete rebuild, and they handled NC State easily. Florida State is just what they are right now. I mean, there's not a whole lot for the ACC to boast about after this week. That's for sure. They had a rough week, but they do still have Clemson. So that's a nice thing to have on your resume, is having the team that is ranked number 1 in the country.
And the defending champions, right? They're riding the coattails. Tim Tebow went off. Now, I forgot what day it was. Was it Saturday? Maybe it was Friday. About the new bill that's going to become law in California. And then we had the story Friday that South Carolina wants to try to enact the law as well, very similar to that, where amateur athletes, collegiate players, can hire an agent, hire a lawyer, attorney, whatever it is, to try to make money off their likeness. That they could do it, fine. We're not talking about the schools paying for those players. This is not going to be a pay-for-play thing, but it's going to be money that you've earned because of who you are. Like, the schools make the money off you. And Tim Tebow went off on this. He said, I feel like I have a little credibility and knowledge about this because when I was at the University of Florida, I think my jersey was one of the top-selling jerseys around the world. It was like Kobe, LeBron, and then I was right behind them, and I didn't make $1 from it, nor did I want to, because I knew going into college what it was all about. I knew going to Florida, my dream school, was where I wanted to go, the passion for it, and if I could support my team, support my college, support my university, that's what it's all about. But now we're changing it from us, from we, from my university, from being an alumni where I care, which makes college football and college sports special, to then, okay, it's not about us. It's not about we. It's just about me. And yes, I know we live in a selfish culture where it's all about us, but we're just adding and piling on to what that where, I'm reading this as it's written, onto that where it changes what's special about college football. We turn it into the NFL, where who has the most money? That's where you go. That's why people are more passionate about college sports than they are about the NFL. That's why the stadiums are bigger in college than they are in the NFL, because it's about your team. It's about your university. It's about where my family wanted to go. It's about where my grandfather had a dream of seeing Florida win an SEC championship. And you're taking that away so that young kids can earn $1, and that's just not where I feel that college football needs to go. There's that opportunity in NFL, but not college football. A couple things. You're not taking that away. He's right about the passion and everything about the school, but you're not taking that away. But what he's also forgetting about is, where he didn't have to worry about things from his upbringing, there's others that do. And to do things that are above board, not shady, behind the door wheelings and dealings, which could still go on. But now you have things out in the open with this law. I don't know how it hurts the product. Now, you can have the whole discussion about whether the best players will now flock to California schools as others. That's a whole different ballgame. But that's why it would be great to have something universal across the board, which the NCAA doesn't want anything to do with, at least not right now. But what do you think about Tebow's passionate outcry against this soon-to-be law?
I mean, if he didn't want to make money off of his jersey sales, great. That doesn't mean everybody. I mean, there's going to be different people and everything that need different things and or want different things. And if he didn't think that was a big deal, great. There's a lot of other people that do. And it is still, it's your name, your likeness. You should have control over that. I mean, that's the bottom line. You should have control over yourself and what you are as far as a marketing tool.
I completely agree. Also, over the weekend, aside from all the football, Marc Gasol and Spain was winning a FIBA World Cup for the second time. They defeated Argentina 95-75, which gives Marc Gasol the rare double-double. You talked about this on Friday. NBA title, FIBA World Cup title. Gasol had 14 points in the championship game. Ricky Rubio was the MVP of the tournament. Spain never trailed in the game. What a year for Marc Gasol.
Yeah, that is for him especially, because he absolutely values the international play. I mean, he loves doing that. He loves representing his country. It means a ton to him. So to get an NBA title and then add this to it, I mean, this is Marc Gasol at his very happiest.
Let's squeeze in our good friend Glenn Rogers here for a second before we have to take the break on Tim Tebow's comments. Here we go. Hey, Glenn, how are you?
Hey, good morning, Greg and Eli. Y'all doing okay?
Yeah, doing fine, thank you.
Man, look, I totally agree with you, Greg, and you and Eli 1,000%. Tebow, to me, it goes back to how a lot of these kids have came up. Some families can afford college and the things that come with it, even though your son is on a scholarship. But Greg and Eli, you both know some of these kids, the backgrounds they come from, they can't even, if something happens in the family, these kids can't even afford to get back home.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So if they can make a little money off the likeliness, I'm all for it, because some of these kids, the situations they come from, they just can't afford some of the simple things that some people take for granted.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's money that could be used for family members to come watch their kid, actually get to see their kid play, too. I mean, there's a lot of different things that a lot of those families just don't have the ability to do. Yeah, it's not going to affect a ton of guys because not everybody is going to be making money based on their likeness. But it is your name, it is your likeness. If there's one thing in this world you should be able to control, it's the sale of that.
Exactly, and you just said it, Eli. Some of these families, I thought about when I was in college, some of my teammates, family members never came because they couldn't afford to.
Right.
And so it goes to what you're saying, Eli. Some of these family members can't even afford to see their son play. And everybody's not going to make money, like you just said, Eli. Everybody's not going to profit from this, but some people will, but not everybody.
I don't see how this affects the product, again, unless all of a sudden the best players available make a mad beeline for the California schools and then we'll see what other states do or if the NCAA does anything over the course of the next 3 years because it's not supposed to be enacted until 2023. But other than that, it's still college football as we know it. Still, the best players are going to perform at a top level, at a high level, and they're the ones that are going to be able to make some money off their likeness. This is not a Title IX thing. It's just if you have that talent and the school is able to certainly use your exploits and your talents to further their programs, then you're going to get a little piece of that. You're going to get a little chunk of that. What is wrong with that, especially when it's above board, Glenn, because we know how many backdoor dealings are going on.
Exactly. You know, and Tim Tebow, let's face it, Greg, and Tim Tebow should have made some money on those jersey sales.
Yeah.
Because if it weren't for Tim Tebow, those people wouldn't be buying the jersey.
And that's like, and if Tebow, if he doesn't want that money, he can give it back to the school or do whatever he wants to. But the bottom line is they're buying the jersey with that number because it's Tim Tebow's number.
Exactly. Like you just said, Eli, if he didn't want the money, hey, donate it back to the school, give it to charity. But at least it's his decision to make.
Absolutely. Yep. Coach, thank you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Guys. Have a good day.
You too.
This is Eric Musselman at Arkansas has just made one of my favorite hires in the world. Just hired one of my favorite basketball players of all time. Earl Boykins.
Oh, you gave it away.
Director of Student Athlete Development. May have been the most entertaining player I've ever watched in the NBA. I love watching that little dude play.
There's no sign that says, "Are you this tall to be able to coach?" Is that going on a roller coaster?
That dude, he is. I still am amazed by the fact that guy was able to play at the level he did in the NBA.
Earl Boykins.
Looked like a child out there compared to those other guys.
Bill, you're up next when we come back. You can jump on the phone lines as well, 360-8255. First Bank phone lines are open. First Bank text line 67129. We got the good, the bad, the ugly coming up as well. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test-driven, checked out from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Sunrise on Jefferson is perfect for just about everyone. If you're a busy professional on your way into work, Sunrise is the ideal place to pick up a cup of coffee and a biscuit sandwich. Or maybe you just want to have a casual breakfast meeting away from the office. Or you want to grab a classic lunch served fast and fresh. Whether you want to dine in or carry out, there's really nothing in Memphis that compares to Sunrise. Whatever you're looking for, breakfast or lunch, chances are it can be found at Sunrise on Jefferson.
If you've always thought, hey, I'd look pretty good in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus thinks so, too. Lexus is offering you the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500. Hey, you look pretty good there. Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event at Lexus of Memphis. Experience amazing.
Memphis Madness returns Thursday, October 3rd to FedEx Forum at 7 p.m. Tickets start at just $5. That's right. You get to see the University of Memphis men's and women's basketball teams, former players, the mighty sound of the South, and maybe even special guests, all for just $5. If that's not enough, the Blue Carpet Experience starts on the FedEx Forum Plaza at 5 p.m. And that is a free event for the entire community. So get your tickets today at GoTigersGo.com. Memphis Madness is presented by Ashley Home Store.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models. each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today, shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1, and 87.7 FM, as well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app, and at home, tell Alexa or Google to play Sports 56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Here once again are Greg and Eli.
Come and take me whoever you are.
Welcome back. Final hour of this program on this Monday. Got some text to get to here in just a moment on the whole likeness, players being able to make money on their likeness. We'll get to those in just a moment. But Bill has dialed up at 360-8255. That's the First Bank phone line, 360-8255. First Bank text line is 67129. We'll get to those texts in just a moment. Bill, what's going on, man? Bill? Hello, Bill? Paging Bill. All right, we'll put Bill on hold. We'll get to the text messages now. It says, if you start with college players hiring agents, it will be a gateway to other things. Then it will be a snowball effect leading to pay to play. It will need a lot of management to not get out of control. Yeah, I've said along, like that's, and the fact that this California law will not go into effect until 2023 it's not like the NCAA has to rush something here, but I do think the NCAA at some point just have to admit defeat and move on here. But there has to be certain standards. You can't, somebody else said, what's to stop it becoming a bidding war? Schools with the wealthiest alum will just pay for the best players' likeness. Yeah, I mean, you can't just have like some booster who says, well, yeah, we're going to pay you $5 million to come do a autograph signing at our place. There's going to have to be a lot of rules and a lot of regulation within this. I get it. It's not easy for the NCAA, but they're going to have to figure this out.
Yeah, the texter's absolutely right. There could be issues. I mean, there normally is going to be issues, something as significant and important as this and groundbreaking to a certain extent. But yeah, the NCAA is going to have to swallow its pride instead of just arguing that it's us against California now and threaten to get rid of all those schools out of the NCAA. Figure out a way where it makes sense. Yes, there's going to be probably every once in a while outlandish booster who's trying to do something that, and you're going to have to nip that in the bud. But there's stuff that goes on now all the time in college sports behind closed doors. It's no longer, a $100 handshake. There's a lot of stuff, even in this day and age, that's still going on, even though you would think that information would get out there readily available. Well, it doesn't all the time. And even when it does, as we've seen with the basketball scandal, and information gets out there and it seems to point a pretty solid finger right at a coach, they don't lose a job. So we know what's going on.
Another text says, okay, the athlete may own his likeness, but he doesn't own anything that represents the university. The university would have to allow that. Yeah, again, I mean, these are things that will have to be addressed and all of that. But, how did because the part of the reason that the athlete is sellable is the fact that he's playing for that team. So there is a part of this that is the university is kind of has their part of it too. Again, these are all things that there's no doubt there will be a lot of ways this has to be looked at from the NCAA.
Well, we're not
trying to figure it out.
We're not talking about the school providing jerseys so there could be a autograph signing. Basically what would happen is if a person bought a jersey with the number of that player who's represented. And I don't know if they have names on the back anymore or whatever. But
they don't right now. They can't.
Yeah. So let's say they don't change that. Well, a person could buy a jersey. They can go over to an autograph signing that's off campus, and that person could sign that jersey for whatever, however it is, $5, $10. That has nothing to do with the school. The school is not going to be providing the jerseys. Autograph session, again, off campus, it's your autograph. It's your name, for goodness sakes. Pictures, photos, selfies, all that stuff. That's all part of that. That's you. It has nothing to do with the school. So you wouldn't have things unless the NCAA allowed it, and where you would have an on-campus autograph signing for money. That would not take place. I think that part isn't that complicated. The other parts are.
So we said if the universities take the name of the players off the back of the jerseys, how do you make money then? I'm for it. I just don't know. I just don't understand how it will work. Well, again, if you're going to do this, you can put the names on the jerseys. They don't have the names because they're, in air quotes, not selling that player's jersey. They're just selling a jersey that so happens to be, it just so happens that the most popular jerseys happen to be the numbers of the guys who are really good on the team.
Look, I just Googled Tua, and there's jerseys galore, bootleg jerseys with Tagovailoa on the back. There are all kinds of ways to get a jersey with the guy's name. Now, if you buy it from the school, as it is right now, there's not the name on the back. But everybody knows that 13 at Alabama right now is Tua Tagovailoa. So if he's doing a signing, somebody buys the 13 jersey, he comes over and he signs it. Or they buy a bootleg 13 jersey with Tagovailoa on the back. It's not that complicated. It's only a handful.
It's very complicated.
No,
there's a lot of stuff.
That part is not that complicated. The school would not be providing the memorabilia. They would have nothing to do with that. Everything else is complicated. I agree with you, but that part is not that complicated. And what we're talking about here, again, as you said, it's a handful of players. It's just a handful of players. And Title IX does not come into play. As far as I know, Title IX does not come into play. You can't say, well, a woman now has to make as much money as that guy, because, no, this is not the same thing.
Another text says there will be dissension among players. Will that offensive guard getting little or nothing want to block for a running back making big bucks? Why wouldn't he? He's still got his career and everything else that he's trying to make the NFL or whatever. And I mean, in the NFL,
it's the same in the NFL.
The
big stars are making big money.
Block for really highly paid quarterbacks and running backs.
Sure.
They don't. They just do it. If that guard who's blocked for that running back wants to end up getting paid to play football, he's going to block the same as he would because he knows his career's on the line.
There's always going to be a disparity. That would be saying like the Cowboys offensive linemen right now are peeved because Ezekiel Elliott held out, number one, and then got this huge contract. So now they're not going to block for the guy. And the person might be thinking, well, they're already paid. Yeah, but there's a huge disparity between what they're getting paid. If there's jealousy, there's no room for jealousy in the world of sports or really in any part of the business world. There's going to be people that are making more than the other people and expected still to do, a similar great job to keep the machine well-oiled.
And the thing, for an offensive lineman in college, if you become like an all-American offensive lineman or something like that, that is your chance to increase the likeliness of you getting some deals where people do want to pay you for something of your likeness. But it's you have to you're trying to do the best you can for yourself. But the quarterback's probably going to get more money than others because that's the way it works. It's the most popular position. It is the glamour position.
And I'm not saying this would happen, but you never know when there's a player who wouldn't share some of the income with his offensive line. And it's a possibility. If a guy made a lot of money as a quarterback and he wanted to give a little of that to the guys who protected him, that's always a possibility as well. Again, they would be allowed to do that. It wouldn't be, well, now that I think about it, would that be accepting extra benefits? because those players wouldn't be doing it from their likeness. They'd be doing it from just the goodwill of the quarterback. I don't know. We'll see if we ever have to go down that road.
I don't know what it would be if it's a current player that's your teammate. I don't know. Bill is dialed back in. What's up, Bill?
Guys.
Hey.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach Rogers made a lot of good points. Tim Tebow really shouldn't even whether he gets good at it or not, and not turn it into some impassioned plea like he could judge for other people. But I think it could potentially open a little bit of that Pandora's box. The Texas schools or whatever, all those schools around with the big, huge money donors. But I mean, whatever. I do think if someone's going to get paid for your likeness, it needs to be the person. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And then to try to judge on what they're going to do with the money before they get it, that's kind of unrealistic. I mean, so there's no doubt in my mind it's a good thing. But here's the thing. So let's say they banned the so-called California schools. So why would a team like the SEC schools not say, no, okay, fine, NCAA, y'all want to play games with all of us? I mean, they could do the same exact thing, and they could just form their own league. And what's the NCAA going to do? I mean, they're basically just a product of what the schools provide for them. If the schools aren't providing anything, well, they're literally nothing.
Right.
So, I mean, the schools have all the power here. So if that's the thing. I think the NCAA will have to adjust. If not, they're going to become archaic.
Well, especially in football, because the NCAA does not have control over football's postseason to begin with. So, it's already a situation where the NCAA kind of has lost control of football to begin with.
Oh, hear the train, Bill. Thank you, my friend.
I mean, basketball is still the deal.
Appreciate it.
It's still, the NCAA puts on the tournament, that's one of their huge money makers, but they have the tournament. In football, the NCAA doesn't have control of the postseason.
Right. But the point he was making was, who's to stop the other leagues from backing their brethren in California by saying, well, you're going to toss them out of the NCAA? Well, we're going to go and leave the NCAA as well, and we're going to start our own governing body.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
They've already lost control of football, so it's not hard for them. And they've already given the Power 5 conferences autonomy to do their own thing.
Exactly.
So, they're not far away from just doing what they could do it easily in football. Basketball becomes a harder thing because of the fact that the NCAA tournament is the ultimate prize, but football, you're outside of the NCAA with the postseason anyway.
Exactly. That's the point. The playoff has nothing to do with the NCAA. Yeah, they run the NCAA basketball tournament, but yeah, their power seems to be getting less and less. Did you read this story over the weekend, Eli? A Florida State booster and his young son are trying to buy out Willie Taggart, or at least take the first steps. Grayton Grant, 4 years old, set up a free Willie lemonade stand in Tallahassee on Sunday that charged $20 per cup to raise funds towards Taggart's $17 million buyout. The effort raised $241, including $100 from one person. That'll be matched by Grayton's father, Daniel Grant. Grant plans to send a $482 check to Seminole Boosters Incorporated on Monday. So they're slowly but surely, $482, not quite the $17 million, but they're making ends. They're making ends meet.
100 came from one person. That means 141. So they only sold 8 cups of lemonade, and somebody must have tipped $1.
Who's buying lemonade at $20 a crack?
Somebody, you better put some other stuff in that lemonade. Paul texts in. He says, "What's the difference in what California's wanting to do versus what Calipari's been doing for years?" Well, California's trying to make it legal. That's the difference. California is making it legal in 2023.
And again, if you missed it on Friday, South Carolina, there was a report that they want to follow suit. I would imagine a number of different states will get involved. And the NCAA has been pushed against a wall so many different times. And they used to come out swinging, a lot less now. They don't have as much power. But now they need to make, and they have some time to do it, but they need to make a decision where they want this thing to go, because it's obviously going in a different direction than they want it to go, and I don't think there's any way to lasso it.
Well, the thing with what Bill was talking about too, I mean, if their whole thing is we're going to ban the California schools, well, like the rest of the schools in the Pac-12 certainly are going to, because they can't have their conference go away basically because now they've lost a bunch of the schools that aren't allowed as NCAA members anymore.
Right.
So it puts all of them in limbo. So they would have to figure something out. So I'm sure they're going to be backing that. I mean, it's this is pushing the NCAA into making decisions that are probably they don't want to have to do. They don't want to have to do these things. But what California is doing is just pushing them and making them, all right, you're going to have to address this, and you're going to have to figure out a way to do it because it's coming whether you like it or not.
All right. We'll take a break now. We'll come back. We'll get into the good, the bad, the ugly from the weekend that was.
Car Wash USA Express is the easy and inexpensive way to keep your car clean and looking great. With the washes starting at just $7, it's very inexpensive. You can do the Fast Pass where you pay a monthly cost and you wash your cars many times as you want. And if you wash it twice a month, you have more than paid for that Fast Pass. That is a great, great deal from Car Wash USA Express. Just talk to the attendant on duty at any of their locations about the Fast Pass. They've got locations all over the area, so it's always convenient to find one nearby. If you go to their website at carwashusaexpress.com, you can find the full list of locations. Find the one nearest you and get on by there to keep that car clean and looking great. Vacuums are always free with purchase as well, so you can clean out the inside of your car. Keep your car clean because a dirty car is a dirty shame. Keep it clean with the help of Car Wash USA Express.
This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab a seat for Happy Hour. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hey, you doing, people? And if it's a Chevy you're looking for, any new Chevy, Olive Branch is where you need to go. New 2020 Silverados and Blazers are at All-Star Chevrolet, ready for you to drive today. Traverse, Equinox, Impala, best new All-Star Chevy lineup ever. And most have 0 for 72 financing. So give these Chevys a test run. Roll the windows down. Enjoy the weather. Crank the music up. Pretend like the car is going to be yours, because it is going to be yours. And best of all, All-Star has the ABCs. A, the All-Star Challenge. Take any written offer from any Mid-South auto dealer to All-Star Chevrolet, and you can get a better deal, new or pre-owned, or they buy you a tank of gas. B, best buying experience, period. No wasting your time. They make it easy. And C, customer care. You're all in. Loaner cars, free oil changes. It's the All-Star family, and they're going to treat you like that. It's not South Haven, not the Pike, not Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Sundays and Mondays are special at the Butcher Shop, celebrating over 35 years of serving the Mid-South by giving a big thank you to you, their loyal customers. You can come in, relax, watch your favorite games, and enjoy hand-cut steaks along with a premium bar. Sunday and Monday nights from 5 until 8:30, you can get select entrees for $25. That includes a salad, baked potato, and bread, and you don't have to pick one, you get all three. Some of those entrees are 10-ounce New York strip steak, slow-roasted prime rib, Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, marinated grilled chicken breast, grilled boneless pork chops, and crab stuffed shrimp. Plus, all appetizers and desserts are 20% off. Don't forget, Hamburger Friday every Friday from 11 to 2. It's the best. The Butcher Shop, always a Memphis tradition. Call 901-757-4244, 901-757-4244 for more information, or just stop in at 107 South Germantown Parkway in Cordova.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Ever wanted to speak another language? Babbel can get you confidently speaking Spanish, French, or German within weeks.
I just started learning Spanish with Babbel, and it's really helping my pronunciation.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas? Haha, I got it! I wish I had tried Babbel sooner.
See why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com to try for free.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens. And they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park. Top Tracer gathers data such as distance, carry, ball speed, and more. Compete against friends in a points game, long drive, and virtual golf at courses such as Pebble Beach and St. Andrews. Golf and Games Family Park is a great setting for group and company outings, golf lessons, or individual practice. Experience fun, friends, family, and introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park, 5484 Summer Avenue.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Welcome back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Here once again are Greg and Eli.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:22 the time. Final hour for us today here on Midday. Sports 56 Middays is indeed delivered by our title and presenting sponsor, FedEx. Make the most out of your e-commerce experience by finding insights and inspiration from other small business owners. Learn more at fedex.com/e-commerce. If you've not heard the news from the National Football League yet, Drew Brees, surgery likely on his thumb, could miss a minimum of 6 weeks. And it's worse for Ben Roethlisberger. He will have surgery on an elbow injury sustained over the weekend in their game against Seattle. He is lost for the year. I was sent this, before we get to the good, bad, and ugly, I was sent this to my, a text on a sad subject. It's an obituary. But it was quite unique, the obituary, and I wanted to read a little bit of it here before we jump into the good, bad, and ugly. Robert Bob Stewart Schaefer, Jr., lifelong Memphian, died on Tuesday, September 10th, 2019, at the age of 66. Bob was the firstborn child of the late Billy Garrett Schaefer. He graduated from Whitehaven High School and began his 50-plus-year career in the auto industry. He loved to be outdoors, entertaining friends, spending time with family, an avid hunting and fishing enthusiast, was an active member of Ducks Unlimited and TWRA. And then they talk about being survived by his wife of 44 years and all these family members. Family and friends will gather on Thursday, September 12th from 5 until 8 o'clock in the evening. And the celebration of Bob's life will be Friday, September 13th, beginning at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The family suggests contributions in his honor to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Online condolences and directions may be found through www.memphisfuneralhome.net. Bob's only regret is that his beloved Tennessee Volunteers football team preceded him in death.
There is truth to that.
Fired.
Oh, my gosh. What an obituary. Time now for the good, bad, and ugly.
The good. The bad. The ugly.
Good. I'll say Tua was good with a career-high 444 yards and just 5 smooth touchdowns in Alabama's win over South Carolina. South Carolina actually did more offensively and kept that game closer than I thought. But, man, Tua and those receivers are really, really good.
Wasn't that good.
Ian Book for Notre Dame, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a touchdown run in their 66-14 win over their former coach Bob Davies in New Mexico. New Mexico's really bad. Why is the state of New Mexico just can't figure things out with football? Because New Mexico State just have been, I feel like
how long has he been their coach now? Because I feel like they thought he was going to turn them around.
He's been there at least 5 years, right?
Yeah, he's been there a little while.
It's not a hot recruiting ground.
But I mean, I feel like New Mexico and New Mexico State have both been terrible for like the last 30 years.
No, they have. Probably anybody with talent that's not, Alabama-esque talent, Arizona and Arizona State probably crossed the border and grabbed those players.
UCF very good in their dominating win over Stanford. True freshman quarterback Dylan Gabriel, 347 yards through the air and 4 touchdown passes as they made it look easy against Stanford, who had their starting quarterback back, and it did not matter. BYU, the overtime heroes. After they beat Tennessee in double overtime, they get the overtime victory over USC, clinching the win with an interception on a tip pass. The freshman quarterback for USC, I felt like he had about 20 passes deflected in that game. It seemed like everything was deflected, and he couldn't throw it over the top of the BYU guys. But BYU, 2 impressive wins. This one at home, unlike the Tennessee win, was on the road, but getting it done in overtime. You do not want to get BYU in overtime. They're pretty good there.
They're the kings of overtime.
Jarian Ely from Ole Miss, mentioned earlier, sets the Ole Miss freshman record for all-purpose yards at 273 and 2 total touchdowns, 172 kickoff yards, 95 rushing yards, 6 receiving yards. The Big 12, what a week for the Big 12. They went 7-2 overall. 6 of the 7 wins were on the road, and 5 of the 7 wins were over Power 5 conference opponents. It's a hell of a week for the Big 12.
It was a good week. Still not sold on some of those teams, but that was a good week.
Texas Tech losing to Arizona wasn't that good, though. That was pretty bad.
It's not a terrible loss.
Not a terrible loss, I guess. I don't know how good Arizona's going to end up being.
Baylor was the one team that did not play this week out of the Big 12. From the NFL, got to give it up again for Lamar Jackson. Week after throwing for 324 yards and 5 touchdowns, he runs for 120, throws for another 272 and 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson's looking like the real deal at the NFL level, man. He is impressive.
He's such a great athlete, but he's also a really, really good leader, and obviously he can throw the ball.
Baltimore, maybe, if there's one team in the AFC that could possibly ruin the path that the Chiefs and Patriots are on for the AFC title, maybe it's Baltimore. They get the Chiefs this week. We'll see how that goes. But Lamar Jackson, he's fun to watch too, man. He's just making plays. And they're throwing deep, like he's running, like they're doing everything with him. It's fun to watch him.
A very quiet off-season move that was big was picking up Mark Ingram, from the Saints, and to make the move they did to basically get rid of Flacco and say we're going with the kid, the Heisman winner, was right now, I know it's hindsight, but it was a brilliant move.
Patrick Mahomes, who could be a permanent fixture on the good list, 443 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Raiders yesterday. All 4 touchdowns coming in the second quarter. He's a video game. Like it's crazy. Every single week, he is a minimum of 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. It seems like that's his bad week, is 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Don't you believe Mahomes is turning into and will become the face of the NFL?
No doubt. He is the star right now. He's just going to, with the numbers.
He's a cool dude too. He's just a cool dude.
His voice is not.
He's Kermit.
His voice is weird, but no, he may not be the voice of the NFL.
No,
but they'll have to alter that. But the face, yes, he can certainly be the face. Give a good to the Patriots, who have only outscored their first 2 opponents now, 76-3. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
That'll win you some games if you can keep that ratio. If your average score of your games is 38 to 1.5. I like your chances to win. I like those chances. Speaking of scoring a lot, I do have to give a good to my Cubs. They scored 17 Friday, 14 Saturday, 16 yesterday. They set a team record. It's the most runs they've ever scored in a 3-game series in the modern era, with the 47 runs scored against the Pirates in 3 games.
Pirates pitching staff is like their AAA rotation now or something, double-A rotation.
Think about that. And you have Baez, right, who's hurt, is he not? And Anthony Rizzo
got hurt yesterday.
Who got hurt yesterday.
Which if he has to miss significant time, then it's going to be very difficult over these next 2 weeks if they're playing without Rizzo and Baez. But Chris Bryant after getting a cortisone shot in his knee to kill some pain in there, caught fire over the weekend. And the rookie, Nico Horner, who was the first-round pick a couple years ago, who's been up replacing Baez, he has been on fire since he came up. So they aren't missing Baez quite as much. Rizzo is just so important on every level of that team. If he has to miss significant time, that's going to be brutal for them.
I don't want Austin to hear, but the Cubs are going to catch the Cardinals.
I mean,
not if Rizzo's out.
Looking that way. I mean, the Cardinals have the Nationals and the Cubs and the forget who they're the Diamondbacks. That's their 3 series they have left. The Cubs have the Reds, Cardinals, and Pirates. So the schedule works out in the Cubs' favor for sure. The Cardinals pitching going to have to get better.
Except for you have to remember one thing: the Cubs can't beat the Reds for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the Reds do have a good starting rotation somehow. They just don't have, and Eugenio Suarez has been incredible.
The Reds own the Cubs this year. The Cubs have only won 1 series against the Reds all year. I think it is. Like
the Cardinals have to win this national series. They absolutely have to.
The good thing is that the Cubs can beat the Reds. They know they're gaining on either the Cardinals or the Nationals. So that, of course, if the Cubs play the Nationals in a wild card game, the Nationals will win that easily.
I'm just waiting for the Gabe Kapler firing. That's the only thing that's really got me excited about the fall in baseball.
The Brewers, who are only the game behind the Cubs for the second wild card spot, the Brewers could make the postseason with a negative run differential.
Wow.
They're like negative 30 run differential, and they're 1 game out. Like the Cubs are plus like 112. Like every team that's in the playoffs is like almost either like plus close to 100. And the Brewers are minus 30, yet still only 1 game out of the playoffs. I don't even understand how they're doing it, but they're somehow I guess basically when they win close games. When they lose, they get blown out.
The Cardinals are against the Brewers. That's just not been a good matchup for them either. And then you put, again, without Martinez, you put that guy in that faced Braun with the bases loaded. That was a disaster waiting to happen.
What was his name again?
Junior Fernandez. He is a junior, no doubt.
Can we get Junior Fernandez to face the Cubs a couple times? We need some Junior Fernandez. Of course, the Cubs will make him look great.
The Phillies' run differential is minus 7. In the National League East, the Braves are plus 106. The Nationals are plus 115. Even the Mets are plus 34. The Phillies are minus 7. That's how bad it is.
Just look at every playoff team, their run differential, and then look at the Brewers.
No, it's wild. Hey, our friend Kevin Barbie texts in and says Cards face Strasburg, Corbin, and Scherzer coming up.
Yeah, that's not looking good.
The
issue is
Cubs are going to catch him.
Paul DeJong has played for 59 consecutive days, I believe, or games, and then Marcelo Ozuna has played 39 of 40 since he came back from an injury. They just haven't been able to rest anybody, and they're starting to get worn out.
That's what the Cubs dealt with last year in the month of September. They had no off days because they had makeup games and everything else.
It's going to be fun, though. Final 12, 13 games of the
season. I think the Cardinals, at this point, I feel like they're safe for a wild card, but the Brewers are right there, too. So, I can't be too confident in that yet.
Yeah.
You done your goods?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me rattle through these. The Tigers having 2 100-yard rushers, neither one being Patrick Taylor. I thought that was pretty impressive in their win at South Alabama. Hogs quarterback Nick Starkel gets his first start for the Razorbacks, throws for 305 and 3 touchdowns in the win over Colorado State. Oh, absolutely. I can't believe we've taken this long to get to this. But a good and a great goes out to the Georgia fan base and the way they honored Wendy Anderson, Blake Anderson's late wife who succumbed to cancer, wearing all the pink. Now, Arkansas State was no match on the field for Georgia, but what the fan base did, I thought that was special.
No, it was awesome. And some of the players who said that I'll be a Georgia fan for the rest of my life off this. It was really cool.
Give a good to Kyle Trask, leading the Gators, coming off the bench for the injured Felipe Franks, who, by the way, it is official. Dan Mullen announcing that he is lost for the year. Franks, in fact, will be out 6 months after undergoing ankle surgery. Tua, as you mentioned, a career day. I give a good to Clemson's defense. They held Syracuse to 172 total yards and 6 points. UCF and the freshman quarterback Dylan Gabriel throwing 4 touchdown passes. They routed Stanford. I give a good to Navy's Malcolm Perry. He's back. 4 touchdown runs, 2 touchdown passes. Navy blew out East Carolina 42-10. That's the Tigers' next opponent a week from Thursday here in Memphis. David Moore, remember him? Remember David Moore, the former Memphis Tiger who was battling it out with Brady White, and then he transferred, went to junior college? Well, he's now the quarterback at Central Michigan. He got his first start this weekend for Jim McElwain's team, threw for 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. David
David.
Moore. I give a good to Hugh Freeze, friend of the show. Got his first victory as the Liberty head coach. They knocked off Buffalo.
Where did he coach from
35-17.
I didn't even see.
What's that?
Where did he coach from this week? I didn't see.
A toll booth. I don't know. No, I think he was back.
It was a platform that they had built where he was able to sit in a chair that had like a podium almost in front of it. That's how he was coaching.
Was he fishing?
No,
Okay,
he wasn't.
So, like on the side, like they built something.
Like,
down
yeah, it was on the field this time. So he was actually on the field.
Theoretically on the field, he was just lifted up
he was
above
back
the
at
field.
practice too last.
Yeah, it was like a stage, like a stage, basically.
Okay.
We
that he was
kid
on.
because we care. Love Hugh. He's actually a good friend. I give a good to Jacob Easton, 252 yards, 3 touchdowns for Washington as they routed Hawaii 52-20. Jalen Hurts, 439 from scrimmage as Oklahoma beat UCLA 48-14. BYU winning, as you said, for a second straight overtime game. They beat Tennessee in OT. They beat USC. Ian Book, you were talking about him. He had 5 touchdown passes. Notre Dame routes New Mexico. Eastern Michigan beats Illinois 34-31. They have now recorded a win over a Big Ten opponent 3 straight years. Little Eastern Michigan. They won it on a last-second field goal. I give a good to J.K. Dobbins, the running back for Ohio State, 193 yards from scrimmage, 2 touchdowns. Ohio State blasts Indiana 51-10. They look really, really good. I mentioned the Southern Heritage Classic. Jackson State getting its first win in the Classic since 2011, winning 49-44 over Tennessee State. I give a good to the Titans again, as we mentioned earlier, for honoring the late Steve McNair and Eddie George together, retiring the uniform numbers 9 and 27. I give a good to Antonio Brown on the field. At least I give him a good. First game with the Patriots, touchdown. And I give a good to Marc Gasol and Spain, FIBA World Cup champs. What a year for Marc Gasol. And then finally, Kevin Chappell, very quietly, at the Greenbrier event, shot a 59 on Friday, I believe it was.
So somebody just tweeted me the picture of the thing that he.
Yeah, it was like a stage or something.
It's funny because the tweet says it's not the Booger Mobile, but Liberty coach Hugh Freeze coaching for this vantage point. That would have been hilarious if they would have done him like in the Booger Mobile. He would have been moving up and down the sideline.
Well, he was like with a
chair.
walker when he was inspecting it. He had like his walker out there and he was looking at it. It was,
Oh, geez. What do you got for best?
So was next week? Are we gonna be able to? Is he gonna be able to stand on the sideline? When do we?
Yeah, I'm curious if he might not ever coach a game standing this year.
He's working his way down. He's now down there at least on the sideline. I don't know what the next thing would be if there's another thing in between this and standing on the sideline.
Just park a big old limo right there on the sideline, away from the line of play. Back there, nice little limo, got the window down.
He's going to come out in one of those little, the kids' cars, whatever you get from Walmart. You can come out and drive one of those little Jeeps or something.
As long as it's not a clown car. It's a clown show to some regard, some people would say. What do you got for bads?
Bad to the Kentucky kicker again, Chance Poor. I mean, sorry about the name to begin with, but the 35-yard field goal missed, costing Kentucky that opportunity to knock off Florida. Michigan State, 12 men on the field on their game-tying field goal and then missed their second try. But on top of that, a bad to the Pac-12 officials, as the Pac-12 admitted the refs screwed up on the field goal that they missed, and Arizona State should have been called for a penalty. And they weren't.
Pac-12 officials are always in the middle of stuff, aren't they?
They had some guys that got a running start and leaped to block it and landed on Michigan State players, which should have been a penalty that was not called. So Michigan State should have gone from make to miss to another chance to make based on the penalties. But as it was, no penalty is called. And Michigan State, for the second straight year, loses to Arizona State. The ACC, we talked about it, but 3 in particular here. Georgia Tech, the loss to Citadel. I'm not sure how that's possible. Boston College, a home loss to Kansas, which certainly not sure how that's possible. Les Miles just getting it done, breaking that 48-game losing streak on the road against Power 5 opponents. And then Pitt and Pat Narduzzi. 4th down and goal from the 1, down by 7, 5 minutes to go, and you try the field goal? I don't even... And his whole thing was we had to score twice to win anyway. Okay. Yes, you're correct. But you're at the 1-yard line. Your opportunities at the 1-yard line don't come very often.
Who's less of a riverboat gambler, Pat Narduzzi or Cliff Kingsbury? He took a field goal every single time they had the ball inside the 5-yard line in the NFL game.
And then the guy
take chances.
And then the guy missed the field goal too, which was just perfect. He just drilled it off the upright. But I just I'm watching that game and I'm like, why? I don't even understand how you would think that the field goal is even close to an option here. You have to go for the tie because even if you get stopped there, okay, you give them the ball on the 1-yard line.
What was the point spread? I keyed.
I don't even know. Penn State was a big favorite, I think, in that game. So I don't think they were already covered.
They were double digit favorite. Okay.
I believe so. From the NFL, the injuries, the old guys going down with Drew Brees and Ben Roethlisberger, both injured, both going to miss significant time. Roethlisberger the rest of the season. And I also give a bad for Tony Pollard, who had his first NFL touchdown called back because of a penalty. So he's still waiting for that first touchdown. He got to celebrate briefly, only to have it taken away.
Yeah, it's tough.
I also got to give a bad to your Maryland Terrapins, who
deserve a bad.
Who still have not won a game as a ranked team since 2006. Now, here's a bit of trivia for you. There are 3 other Power 5 teams who have not won a game as a ranked team in that same time span. There's only 3 others. 4 teams total. Maryland and 3 other teams.
That have not won as a ranked team.
Not won a single game as a ranked team since 2006.
So there's 3 teams besides Maryland or 2 besides?
3 besides Maryland.
You want to give us a hint as far as the conference is concerned?
I will tell you this.
Conferences?
All of the teams are from the same conference.
Oh,
are they all from the ACC?
No.
Tell me that. Okay, they're not from
all of the teams are from the same conference.
So the Big Ten.
Oh, okay. I got you. I would say
Purdue is one of them.
Minnesota.
Minnesota is not one of them.
Who else is
Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana.
Indiana is one of them.
Definitely. That's a good guess.
And the other one's simple.
And the other one would be
you just have to remember
Illinois.
Big Ten. No.
Rutgers.
Oh, yeah, Rutgers. I forgot about Rutgers, yep.
Yeah, so
I'm so used to not thinking about Rutgers because they're way over on the East, it feels like.
The 4 teams who have not won a game as a ranked team since 2006, all Big Ten teams, Maryland, Indiana, Purdue, and Rutgers.
Well, I don't know if it's during that exact time period, but Maryland's popped into the – well, maybe it is. Maryland's popped into the top 25 5 different times. They've lost every single time. Anybody who bet Maryland, who bet that game and didn't ask me for advice, man, you are there is no – look, I don't know a lot, but I know a lot about the Terps, and that was a given. They were 8-point favorites on the road. They were losing that game straight up, and they were. So you want to talk to me? They're not going to be bowl eligible. They were ranked after week 2. They scored 1,000 points. I'm telling you, they're going to win 4 or 5 games. This is exactly what I said before the season started. You watch. Any more bets?
That Penn State line was 17, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. They were a big favorite, so I knew that.
I thought it might be tighter because of the rivalry, but what is that it for bets?
Yeah.
Okay, here are mine. I give the bad to the whole situation with Mississippi State, with Stevens and the shoulder injury, and then the backup, the kid comes in, goes for the whirly-bird ride. Hopefully he's okay. We heard from Connor O'Gara today that the Keaton Thompson has like a thumb thing, so maybe that's why he's not in there. But that was a rough one to lose at home to Kansas State, although Kansas State is not a bad team by any stretch. Maryland certainly falling to Temple. They had 2 opportunities, 2 different drives in the fourth quarter, deep in the red zone, inside the 5-yard line at the 1, in fact, and couldn't punch it in against Temple. I give a bad to, you mentioned Michigan State, losing at home to Arizona State 10-7. They had a game-time field goal negated for having 12 men on the field. Ouch. BC's loss to Kansas, isn't that the worst loss of the year by anybody? Even Georgia Tech losing to Citadel and California losing to Washington.
Losing to an FCS team
is worse. Kansas, okay. Kansas had lost 48 in a row on the road against Power 5 schools. And they went up there and doubled up Boston College 48-24. I give a bad to Florida State, unable to spike the ball and get a final play at the Virginia 4-yard line. They lose 31-24 to Virginia, which had 4 15-yard penalties on the last drive to give Florida State that chance. and Florida State still couldn't score. I give it bad to the whole situation with, it's not Anthony's fault, but where is Anthony Miller? Where the hell's Carmen Sandiego? And where is Anthony Miller? 2 targets in 2 games? He had 7 touchdowns as a rookie last year.
Yeah, a lot of people really were expecting big things from him this year, and so far he has not even been a part of the offense.
I give it bad to the Saints and the Rams had what looked like another terrible situation with the officials that was going against the Saints. It was a quick whistle. It would have been a touchdown. In the end, it didn't matter. Once they lost Drew Brees, they weren't going to beat the Rams. But, man, you looked at that play and that quick whistle, and you go, not the Saints again. I give a bad to, obviously, the Dolphins. Just pathetic. 3 picks by Ryan Fitzpatrick, 2 returned for touchdowns. They lose 43-0. And then finally a bad to Adam Vinatieri. We talked about it earlier. He's missed 5 kicks in 2 games, including 3 PATs. I think it's time for a change. Uglies, before we take the break. What do you got?
Uglies, the Felipe Franks injury. Body's not supposed to bend that way. That was not good. And then the Dolphins, outscored 102-10 in 2 games. Seems virtually impossible in the NFL to be as bad as the Dolphins are.
My uglies, Felipe Franks, as you mentioned. Again, now the 3rd starting quarterback in the SEC, lost for the year. Jake Bentley, Terry Wilson, now Felipe Franks. You have the injury with Tommy Stevens, which doesn't look like it's season-ending or anything like that, but injuries have been an issue with the quarterbacks around the SEC. And then finally, the pyrotechnics at Nissan Stadium that burned the grass on the home team sideline, on the Titans sideline there, and looked pretty dangerous there for a while. They finally put it out, but that was a big old mess. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll put a wrap on the program with one final thing. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. It is that time of year where the weather is unpredictable, and given the recent storms, it's a good time to discuss insurance claims. So here's a few things you should know. Always hire a local contractor, because if you have a problem with your roof down the road, you want to be able to find him. Never allow anyone to pressure you into signing a contingency contract. They're used as sales tools, making you feel committed, and the truth is, those contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Be careful of door-knocking salesmen. Some are reputable, but many are not. They canvass the neighborhood and tell everyone to file a claim, working their percentages and not caring if you file a claim even when they know the likelihood of it being approved is low. Some will even damage your roof, hoping to convince the adjuster it's storm damage. That's fraud, and contractors have gone to jail for that. So do your research and know who you're hiring. Five-Ash Roofing, the official roof of the University of Memphis Athletic Department. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
All right, let's pull up over here and drop a line. Are your feet wet? My feet are wet. Here's the drain plug. You put the plug in the drain, right? It's on the dock.
There's a reason they say curse like a sailor. Many reasons. Progressive's boat insurance has you covered. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The forensic analyst searched for clues to the house fire.
Could that be
Starch? Suddenly it came together. The fire was started by
an over-microwaved potato?
Covered, July 25th, 2015. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Your Memphis Tigers football team returns home to Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium for a nationally televised clash with rival Navy Thursday, September 26th at 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale at GoTigersGo.com. So bring out the whole family as we celebrate Veteran and Military Appreciation Night as part of this important AAC game. The Tigers look to defend the AAC West Division, but we need you in the stands to provide a great home field advantage. Memphis versus Navy Thursday, September 26th. Sponsored by KTG USA and 98.1 The Max.
You'll see the dedication in every single step.
You'll see it in the smiles, when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselemembrace.com.
Dedicated our life to yours. Wolf Chase Limb and Brace.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Here once again are Greg and Eli.
Welcome back. We will have the Monday Night Football game tonight here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7, as it's the New York Jets with Uncle Rico at quarterback taking on the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield and company. Folks, dirt happens, so whether it's at home, office, construction sites, anywhere you're dealing with needing cleanup, well, the folks at High-Low Commercial Services certainly can help. They specialize in construction cleanup, commercial, food plant, and industrial cleaning, and they will customize service just for you based on what your needs are, how often you need them. They will customize a service just right for you. Plus, they're experts at cleaning hard-to-reach places, so you can give them a call at 277-6733. You can get a lot more information and see what they're all about by visiting their website. That's highlowcommercial.com. That's HILO, highlowcommercial.com. You're just not going to find better service when it comes to cleaning up your office, your home, or again, those construction sites, industrial plants, whatever it is. The folks at High-Low Commercial Services will do it right. They'll do it good. They'll do it clean and fast for you. Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
Crazy story about a former NFL player, and I'm not sure if his first name is pronounced Edwin or Edon. It's spelled E-D-A-W-N Kaufman. Have you heard of him, Eli?
I have not.
He has bounced around in the NFL from 12 through 16. So for 4 or 5 seasons, he played for 7 different teams. Let's go Edwin and just assume that the name is spelled differently. The 31-year-old Kaufman is charged with a false report of a crime, insurance fraud, and concealing a license plate, according to this story on CNN. A witness called police on Thursday describing a suspect vandalizing a restaurant. Kaufman owns the restaurant and then driving away in a black truck with a license plate. Police spotted the truck, pulled it over. Kaufman was driving. Inside the car were several televisions still attached to brackets with damaged drywall, as well as black spray paint cans. In addition to missing televisions, the damage found inside the restaurant included racial slurs, swastikas, and the word MAGA, M-A-G-A, right? Make America Great Again, written in black spray paint. Kaufman told police he had found the vandalism done to his restaurant and reported it to his insurance company, but hadn't called the police. It appears as though Kaufman conjured a premeditated plan to damage his own property, attempt to make it appear as a hate crime, file a claim with his insurance company, and sell off the undamaged appliances and electronics, according to police. Kaufman's attorney issued a statement saying Kaufman is presumed innocent like anyone else who is accused of a crime. Don't prejudge him without knowing all the facts.
That's strange.
That's going to extreme extreme measures, isn't it?
Mentioned tonight, Browns and Jets Monday Night Football. Browns defensive end Chris Smith is going to play tonight. Will certainly be playing with a heavy heart. His girlfriend, Patera Cordero, was killed last Wednesday when she and Smith, they had in their car a tire malfunction, and Smith had gotten pulled over and gotten out to try and fix the tire. Cordero got out of the vehicle, and a 47-year-old woman smashed into her and the passenger side of the car. The two had a baby together last month, just 26 years old. He said, I'm going to play tonight because it is something she would want me to do. She would want me to keep doing what I love and stay strong. I play for her tonight. She is my why. So Chris Smith, certainly going to be a emotional night for him and tough night for him, I would imagine. That's a brutal story.
And we'll have the game tonight. We'll have the Browns game tonight against the Jets.
Indeed we will.
Okay, so make sure you check that out here on Sports 56. By the way, one other NFL note, Pat Shurmur did not commit, as you were talking about it earlier, to Eli Manning as the team's starter heading into week number 3. We'll see if there will be a change at QB. Big thanks to Connor O'Gara for joining us on the program today. Tomorrow we'll have our Tuesday regulars. Don Wade will join us for the dish. Steve Macy from the University of Memphis, working on a couple of other guests as well. We'll have the NFL recap for week number 2, plus 2.5 questions. It's all coming up on the program tomorrow starting at 10 o'clock. Stay tuned. Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. It is coming up next. For Austin Eldridge and Eli Savoie, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody.
The news while I'm kicking off my shoes and it's scaring me out of my socks.